Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 710. It is February 10th, 2022. I'm your host this evening, Nick Henderson, and I am joined by Brad Simons.
Hello, it's me.
Nolan Hedstrom.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Crispy.
Hello.
And Chris Davis.
Good evening.
And it is time, once again, as we do, to talk about the world of video games. Before we get into it, we have a lot to talk about tonight, by the way. We're going to talk about some Dying Light 2. We're going to revisit Pokemon. Brad's been playing some Supraland. We got stuff to talk about.
Oh man, the tweet, the Discord message, the intro. You always omit the most important game we're going to talk about tonight.
Well, I do that specifically because I'm trying to list the game. I don't. First of all,
It's
have so much
Vampire
space.
Survivors, and it's sold more than whatever.
Ooh, that's a good one, Brad.
Yeah.
Brad, I put that in. I thought I put that in the Discord message. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just copied the Twitter message and whatever. That's neither here nor there. The point is, we're going to talk about Twitter. You only have so many characters to work with, so I'm using the real estate that's going to get the most clicks. Nobody knows what Vampire Survivors are. They're going to find out tonight.
Yikes.
I don't know. That's like kind of becoming a meme game, isn't it?
I know. More people bought Vampire Survivors than all versions of Supraland, including DLC on all platforms combined. So, I was right.
That's insanity. Before we get into that, real quick housekeeping. I just want to. Ed had his 30th birthday this past week.
Wow, he's a man grown now.
He's a man grown, and he took it upon himself to do not only his top 10 games of all time, his top 30 games of all time. 30 for 30, and it's a video broken into two parts. Everybody loves a good list. Go check it out. Show him some love.
I watched both of them. He didn't rank the back 20, and that makes me sad. I at least want to know what his number, the number 11 that he was struggling, that, barely made it onto the list. Where's Ed? Is he here? Just tell me what number 11 is.
Ed does not appear to be in chat. He kind of copped out on the lack of the ranking thing, but that's neither here nor there. His top 10 are ranked, but go check it out. Both those videos are available now on Twitter, on our YouTube, everything. Go check them out.
We
They're
only
readily
have a few
available.
more staff members that haven't done their top 10s.
Yeah, I know Brad and I have a top 10 coming. Chris Davis has a top 10 coming.
I'm talking about games of all time.
Oh, that's right. That is true.
I did mine so long ago. It was when we were doing our conversational top 10s.
You can redo your.
I don't want to redo
it every once in a while.
Although I do think I might have a couple of new entries on my top 10 now that I think about it.
I think your video was 2017.
Yeah.
Do it, Brad.
And
just
the
fucking
before
do
4
it.
times.
Use that as an excuse to go ahead and just redo your video. You can redo your list too. I don't care. But yeah, we also have Game of the Year videos coming. I know myself, Brad, Chris Davis, Ed. We got one coming. I don't know if Nolan's doing one, but we'll probably find out what Nolan's list is at the very least, right? Right, Nolan, you can give us a list.
I'll probably at least make a list.
All right, cool. Anyways, check out Ed's video. It's out there. But without further ado, let's get it. We got a lot of video games to talk about tonight. I don't really know which one we want to start with. I guess.
Well, I mean, the big one?
Vampire Survivors?
Vampire Survivors, Nick.
Is that what you were
about Vampire Survivors?
Is that what you were going for?
This is let's see how many Steam reviews it has. I bet it's got a lot.
I had to Google this. I've never heard
because it's only $2.99.
Yeah, this is $2.99. You haven't heard of it. It just came out. Actually, it's an early access. I don't usually play early access games, but I made an exception because, I mean,
Because why the hell not?
I mean, given the type of game that it is, which is like, I don't know, have you ever heard of Crimson Land or...
Made a game with zombies in it?
Long story short, it has 35,000 reviews on Steam, overwhelmingly positive.
Wow.
I mean, I'm gonna be the $2.99 price point has a lot to do with that, right?
Oh, of course.
Well, that and it's just it is.
It's
I
worth
think
it though.
Getting a
it
lot of
is.
word of mouth.
I
It
have a
is a
question.
type of game that people are nostalgic for. Like this type of game. I mean, the oldest game I could think of when I saw this was Crimson Land, which is a game that came out in 2003, which is just a game where you're on a screen and you're trying to kill everything and you're like leveling up and you're getting more and more powerful until you're fighting like millions of things. And this is one of those, except it's heavily inspired by Castlevania.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Yeah,
Is it
all
Steam
of
Deck compatible yet? Do we know this
Steam
yet?
Deck compatible? I mean, I
Nick,
can't, I
at this
can't
point
imagine.
in reality, no matter what they say, nothing is Steam Deck compatible
True,
because the
there's
Steam
no Steam
Deck
Decks.
doesn't exist.
That's true.
It will soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
Is anyone here in chat anywhere like got the Q1 Steam Deck shipment? I'm just curious.
wait,
But
Brad's now like derailing his own conversation about Vampire Survivors to literally just start asking chat if anybody's getting their hands on one in Q1. Let's
yeah,
talk about Vampire Survivors, Brad. Stay
Vampire
focused. Stay
Survivors.
focused.
It's a $3 game where it's very Castlevania inspired. All your power ups that get progressively crazier and more powerful and faster and more of them and larger and are all like your Castlevania sub weapons for the most part, right? You get your crosses and your bones and your
Holy water.
fireballs, holy
Why are these
waters,
flowers
daggers.
slowly
challenge.
This is
encroaching?
like a trap. It just kind of like closing in on me,
Wouldn't want
and
them flowers to get you.
yeah, well, no, because you'll die, and
Yeah.
you unlock new characters, and those new characters are kind of like very Castlevania type characters, and each variation will start with a different sub weapon and have like kind of like a passive that makes them a little different at certain things, and like the Grant equivalent, I guess, from Castlevania 3 starts with a dagger, except he can throw like he has an extra projectile like from the start, so he's immediately throwing two daggers and stuff like that. And honestly, I really want to talk about it because it's really fun and addictive, and I've been spending way too much time playing it. And I imagine everybody else has who's picked this up because it is really fun and it is really addictive because the escalation and when there's like hundreds of things on screen, it's just crazy, right? Because
For Nick, who I don't know if you've seen like any other video besides the what we're watching right now. This
What
is
I'm
like
watching.
nothing. This is there are like I don't know the exact amount, but like easily like 1,000 dudes on the screen
Mhm.
when you're getting
Okay.
towards like the end of a level. Like it is insane.
Gotcha.
Which
Gotcha.
when if you look at, I mean, I would like recommend this game to Nolan immediately, and I think Crispy
yeah.
would like it too. But granted, Nick, well, I think you never really have you ever played Geometry Wars?
Yeah, I love Geometry Wars.
So yeah, just think of this as kind of like a Geometry Wars. Here's a twist with this
Sold
one
me.
though, is you're just moving around. All of your abilities are auto firing, and they have different like rules. Like for example, the cross or whatever will attack the nearest enemy, right? While you might have a weapon that just shoots randomly, or you might have a weapon that always shoots like in front of you. I think the dagger is the one that always shoots where you're aiming, and that's like
Whichever
literally the
direction
only.
you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way you can kind of control which direction things are going to happen.
And you'll have like the Bible, right? And it'll just sort of
Right.
like hover around you, or the garlic, which creates like an aura around you, which doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's like constant, right? It never like goes away, which is good for taking out like kind of weaker enemies that really swarm you. And you know, it it's just really fun. It's really addictive. The escalation is cool. It is really easy to die,
Brad,
but there you are unlocking a currency that lets you invest in like permanent upgrades. But the cool thing is, and you also use that currency to unlock characters. But the thing is, you can like level up your all your different stats, right? But you can refund all of that currency you spent on permanent upgrades anytime you want. So you might like invest all your money into the stat that gives you more like percentage of money every run, but then you could just refund that and take all your new money and like buy a character or something, right? So it's very like free form with the way you like upgrade your characters
Not a lot of restrictions there.
yeah.
Also, Brad,
Yeah.
the chests. and those lights start coming out.
Yeah.
It gets so exciting. It's like fucking
Yeah.
gambling. It's like you're at the casino at the
Oh
slots, and
my
all of a sudden
god!
what upgrade am I gonna get?
I hit a $5 chest today, where I got 5
Nice.
rewards. That was really good. I also got a chest that gave me like all of the same. Like it gave me like 3 daggers, and that was really cool on a 3 chest. And it's just look, it's fun, it's addictive. It's $3. I think anybody can get into it. And you know what? It's got some Castlevania. Like, look, I'm not
watching
getting
this. I'm watching
Castlevania
this, and
stuff anywhere.
I'm thinking to myself, I could get into this. This looks. I'm
It's fun.
I'm having fun watching you, like just watching what's happening on the screen without having any actual control over it. And I can see myself getting into it, especially, if it is it only on Steam right now. I guess
It's only on Steam right now, but I
my question
I'm
is, do I
assuming it's gonna
want to
come
let
around.
myself?
The-
Do I
so,
want to
Nick,
let myself become obsessed with something like this?
the reason I it's not on my Steam currently is because I've played it in browser.
Oh,
They have like an in-browser version of the game that you can just go and try it out and play it for free.
so this is going to be perfect for the Steam Deck.
Steam
How-
Deck, Switch. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
hopefully this
cool.
comes to like all
The
kinds of
music's
things.
good,
But
Chris Davis.
ever since this blew up in early access, he's already added a bunch of like characters and power ups and stuff. So I don't know when this is going to come out of early access, but it doesn't really matter for a game like this. And yeah, I really want to get this on. I really want my Steam Deck, man. I've been thinking about a lot of
I don't
different
know if I
kinds of
don't know if I
games.
told you, Brad. I ended up pre-ordering a Steam Deck. I'm
Yeah,
definitely not going to get it in like the first set because I waited too long.
yeah.
But after a while,
As
I
in, like, you
definitely decided.
recently, like not back when it was first open. Like, you're talking about you recently pre-ordered one?
Not like defined recent. Like it was a little while ago, like a month or two ago. But it
Gotcha.
definitely like nowhere near like a first batch.
Yeah.
First batch was what, July? I think was when you could
Yeah.
first order it.
It was a while ago.
See, this is the 2022 game right here, the one that like Brad plays for like 120 hours, and then is like, well, this is the reason why I didn't play this, and this.
Maybe. I mean, it's really. I would have played more Supraland for sure if I wasn't playing this. That's fucking true, and other things maybe.
Yeah,
But
there it is. And the Steam Deck's gonna
it
ruin
is
everything.
really simple, and it does kind of look like Bud, and the music is kind of dumb. Like I muted the music and put on a Castlevania playlist.
So yes, I will agree that the Castlevania music is definitely better. This music can kind of get repetitive, but it bumps at least.
Yeah.
But yes, I could easily see you like finding some better music to play. Yeah.
I did unlock the second stage so far. I'm not, like dozens and dozens of hours like everybody else who's been playing it. I did unlock a second stage it's the library, and it's very narrow, and it has all new enemy types, and it's like, oh cool, I wasn't expecting like all these new enemy types, and it's getting a lot harder, and it's cool. I mean, I can't really speak too much more on this game. I mean, look at it. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So
Not much to say there.
we'll end up there. Definitely pick it up. It's $3. Like Carlos owned it on Steam, and I'm like, well, I could just I don't have to pay for this game. I could just I share his library, and I'm like, it's just $3, and he's playing it all the time too, so I might as well buy it. So
Yeah, there we go. All right, well let's switch gears. This is gonna be a hard left turn implies a bad thing. Hard right turn, I don't know. Let's talk about Dying Light 2, because this is the newest big release, I suppose. And I know Chris Davis, did you end up starting it?
Yeah, I'm about eight-ish hours in.
Cool. And Crispy, you've been playing on your PS4.
Fuck you! Fuck you, you bougie bastard! Yeah, I've been playing on my PlayStation 4.
Call it a PS4, Nick.
Yeah, you
I'm
just
sorry.
hate crimed me.
I mean, that was the first.
You just classism to me.
I know. I'm so sorry. But I mean, I do find it. I think it is interesting. It's worth mentioning because this game dropped last week. Reviews were hitting. A lot of the reviews were painting it to be, a very buggy experience. Maybe like buggy enough that you may want to wait, and that may be true. Most of those reviews.
It is buggy.
No, it is. I mean, here's the thing. I'm playing it on playing on PS5. And having played, a bunch of Dying Light 1.
Thrive.
Yes,
I don't
PS
know,
Thrive.
I
I am genuinely curious to hear about your experience as far as bugs go, but playing this on PS5, I'm pretty surprised by I mean, nothing has happened in this game that I wouldn't expect from Dying Light 1 5 years after launch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree
And I'm
with
wondering
that.
if it's the same thing on PS4, like, or if the bugs are more severe. You know what I mean?
Well, there's some weird. There have been a few like weird bugs. Like, there was only one where it was like I just had to turn the game off and turn it back on. Which luckily checkpointing has been pretty forgiving so far, and I've read that for the most part the checkpointing is pretty consistent.
Yeah, I
So
haven't had any issues there either.
yeah. I mean, I've read some people saying that they had, like, oh, I had a bug and I just had to save it, or I had to quit at a really bad point and then I lost a bunch of progress. But that's not typical.
Yeah.
Um, the bug that made me restart the program was like I had just finished a boss fight and I had to go into a room to do, like whatever the cutscene like follow up is, and the audio didn't work.
Oh,
And it wasn't, so like I was only getting like sound effects and like ambient sound, but like people were talking to me and they like their audio track wasn't playing, and I like the captions didn't even pop up either, so I couldn't
no.
even just like read what they were supposed to be saying, right?
It
So
was just
I
like absolutely you cannot hear what's you have
yeah,
no.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah,
We're not gonna
everyone
let
looks
you.
angry and I don't know what's going on. Like,
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the game became better for it. Am I right?
Oh,
Am I
man.
right? I mean, yeah, not that. Okay, okay, hang on, pin in that. But but I have, the other kind, the kind of bugs that I'm seeing more often are like ones where like you hit somebody, like you hit a zombie and they just like freeze and then they like don't exist anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I did one where I was clearing out a bandit base, and like I had taken out some bandits with stealth and then I moved over to a different area to fight different bandits, and when I came back, like these bandits who I had taken out were like getting up and like walking around, but they weren't interactable, they weren't attacking me, and they just like generally ignored my presence.
Nice.
Well,
The only
that's
real
strange.
bug
Yeah.
I've run into
Yeah, it was
is
really strange.
is there's a particular bat that I found. Like no other weapon has done this to me, but there's this one bat that I found that every time I hit an enemy, for some reason it automatically turns my camera not like 90 degrees to the right.
It's a strange one.
Oh.
It's fucking
But
weird.
that is the nature of like what the bugs have been. Like it's all been
The fun bugs.
like yeah, it's all been like this is weird. What kind of Frankenstein code made the game do this, you know?
It's
Um
the strangest thing I've seen, and Brad mentions kind of fun bugs, and I think I think it's kind of safe to think of Dying Light in very much the same way you look at like Fallout or like a Bethesda game, right? Where you go in kind of expecting weird, silly shit to happen, right? Like the weirdest thing I saw, I heard a noise. I was in like a building, and I heard a zombie noise coming from somewhere. And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" It sounds like it's right in front of me, but I can't see it. And then all of a sudden, a zombie rose through the floor like he was on an elevator.
Yeah, that's a fun bug.
And then
yeah, or you
charged
just see
at me.
people
And that
yeah.
shit, and that was honestly quite hilarious.
was-
But like that's kind of the extent of the like everything that I've seen so far or experienced so far, mechanically speaking, functionally speaking, has been pretty stable. Like the important stuff, like the parkour feels amazing. I think the traversal through this world feels better than it's ever felt for this game or for Dying Light as a series, I suppose.
Oh, shit.
And the combat feels great. I mean, I was kind of going into this game expecting, maybe hoping that like this would be like some transcendent version of Dying Light 1, and that it was going to like, they made Dying Light 1 and then all of a sudden like that kind of catapulted them into a new tier, right, where they were going to get all kinds of funding and they were going to get, it was just going to feel like a bigger, better, and it does feel like a bigger,
They're just
and in
a
some ways
bigger Eurojank studio now.
yeah. And so
Like,
in that regard, it's definitely a Eurojank game. But like the things that Dying Light did well are still done very well here, and the actual like world that you're exploring is pretty stable and fun. Like I'm having so much fun just running through the world. In fact, it's just 20 minutes of footage of me just pretty much running through the world and making decisions on the seat of my pants, just like which direction am I gonna go? I'm gonna go this way, and then deciding I'm gonna stop for a second to beat the shit out of some zombies, and now I'm gonna go into this building and explore, or you know what I mean? And like that kind of stuff is fantastic. I love that.
I'm in general having a good time playing this.
I can't remember. Did you play Dying Light 1 or play a lot of
I
Dying
played
Light
through
1?
Dying Light 1. I didn't play the following.
Okay.
But I played.
Yeah, I didn't play that. I didn't play that either.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always heard good things about it, but I just never got around.
I mean, I'm only about 12 hours in at this point too, so I was originally going to take a long weekend last weekend, and then that ice storm obviously kind of threw a wrench in my plans. I didn't even get to start playing the game until Sunday. So I'm only about 12 hours in at this point, but I'm having a pretty good time with it. I haven't really gotten far enough, and I know a lot of people talk about story and Dying Light being, passable at best. And I feel like it's kind of the same way here, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still too early to really make any judgments
I mean,
about it.
12 hours, you can make some judgments, Nick.
They're
Come on.
allowed
It's 12 hours, but like 10 of those hours have just been me running around the world doing random shit. I can tell you, like, side quests are largely, running into random people and they ask you to do, like, I've had some honestly hilarious side quests that make no sense, that are just there to be funny, and for the most part they succeed in that. But like, I mean, I don't think this game is going to win any awards for its writing, at least in that aspect.
Are you telling me you're playing a Yakuza game? Super
yeah.
serious main story, and then like side quests that are real goofy.
But like the goofy side quests in Yakuza are really clever. Here, I don't think they're supposed to be goofy. It's just like,
I mean, the side quests in this game do largely feel like filler, but also they're good excuses to kind of like explore different parts of the world that maybe you wouldn't know about or wander into. Or if they're like little nudges to get you to go places that you may not go otherwise, and some of them are just opportunities for some fun like dialogue and stuff. But the main story, I've maybe played like an hour and a half, 2 hours of what you would call the main story so far. So in that
why?
regard,
What? Like, so
what?
I feel like with a game like this, you're gonna get so many cool like tools and stuff, and I always like feel like I need to play a certain amount of the main story so I can get like this cool thing that's gonna make
like
doing the
beelining
side
the main
quests more
story to get the
fun.
cool thing.
So
the
maybe I'm
that
mistaken.
is sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was just saying, maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't think there's a lot of those tools. There's probably a couple exceptions to this rule. I think the grappling hook being a big one. There's most of like the skills and tools and stuff that are not really locked behind story progression, because there are skill trees that are like, I've been technically spending most of my time in Dying Light 2 grinding. Like, because this is one of those games, and honestly, I can't remember how it worked in the first game, so I can't honestly tell you if this is a new thing or not. But like, there's 2 skill trees. There's parkour and there's combat, and you literally get experience points for everything that you do. Every jump you make, every roll, everything you vault over, you see little experience things popping up that are blue for parkour, red for combat. Every time you hit someone with a bat, it gives you like 5 points for combat, and you're steadily building up filling up these 2 meters to get a skill point, and then you're unlocking a new thing that that gives you access to a new parkour ability or a new combat ability, and that's where most of the progression is going to come from. But also,
Gotcha.
you're also like, the thing, and this is the one thing that I'm
But what I'm talking about is like, when you get the wingsuit or something in like a Far Cry game, right? It's like, oh well, I'm gonna play up until I unlock that, and then it's gonna be so much more fun to do everything else. There's not stuff like that. Well, I know
there is a thing.
There is definitely a thing, but I know specifically we were talking in Discord with Green Toast, who finished the game, and Green Toast which is actually kind of good.
The travesty of the grappling hook.
Yeah, the grappling hook, where you shouldn't really get your hopes up about getting the grappling hook early. If you want the grappling hook, you would have to beeline to almost the end of the game.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm not going to be wasting my time trying to.
It's within 6 missions of the end of the game you get it.
Right,
Wow.
but there is another thing that you get in the game that I'm assuming is tied to a story mission.
Oh, your
that you
little
get much
parachute
earlier
thing?
on. Yeah, which I think is because this is a much more vertical game than the first. So I'm thinking that's kind of what they're banking on being like, not the replacement for the grappling hook, but being kind of their like big focal. Like the grappling hook was huge in the first game, and this is kind of their thing in the second game. But
Yeah.
I
The
haven't
new
gotten it
grappling
yet.
hook does seem fun though, so it is a shame that
So
Yeah.
because it's more Spider-Man-y.
So I
But
joined.
hold on, sorry, Chris Davis, kind of real quick, and I just wanted to say the thing about the grappling hook in the first game is you don't have it right away. You probably have to go through almost half the game,
Half the game, yeah. You get to
maybe
the
even a
second
little
city.
farther before you get it. And so that was kind of like, yeah, like Brad, you were saying, you want to kind of get through it so you can get that, so you can make the rest of the game fun. But this one, basically having to play the entirety of the game is kind of
But there are
not
so
so
many.
fun. No,
There
I
are
know.
that wingsuit, or not wingsuit, not really what it is, but it's like a glider, I suppose, is an equally big deal, I think, in terms of traversal. And there are a lot of like every time I get a skill point, I'm like, oh my god, what do I spend this on? And this is one of these things where I'm still trying to decide how I feel about it, because it takes a long time to earn points in this game. Like like you have to get 5,000 points to get a skill point, I guess, just as an example,
Yeah.
to like get a skill point for combat. But you only may get like 10 or 20 at a time every time you like hit something. So I'm like running around killing zombies for like, played for like an hour and a half and got like one skill point. So like
Yeah.
when you get those things, it's like you have to, I'm really kind of like, I'm stuck between, am I mad that I had to wait so long to get it, or am I excited that I got one and I have to really think about what I'm going to use it on. But then there's, on top of that, you get all kinds of gear and equipment that give you stat boosts, and some of those random stat boosts that are tied to like gloves and hats and pants and stuff are like plus 5% parkour experience for everything. So like that plays a lot in deciding what equipment I'm going to use.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping those boosts get bigger as I go, so I start getting these points faster.
Yeah,
But right
part of
now
the problem
it takes
is
a long
that
time.
there's not a whole lot of activities you can really do in the world. There are dynamic ones that pop up as you're just running around the city, but there's nothing. There's outside of like side quests and maybe when you get into activities at night. There's no real like repeatable content that boosts your XP.
That is true. I think it's worth
Which
pointing out though that like the highlight of Dying Light, and especially in this one, is kind of just the moment to moment stuff. So like I'm far less interested in seeking out side quests as I am just running around exploring the world myself, just without anyone
Scavenging?
leading me anywhere.
Well, I mean, this
Scavenging, going inside of buildings,
Is
fighting
this
people
is,
and
scav- is
zombies.
scavenging? Does it feel really desirable like it did in the first one? Like you
I
really?
mean, so
I
so
think it feels
there's
better than the first game. I don't necessarily think it's as good as it probably should be.
I mean, it doesn't feel
Meaning,
like
like, do you
hugely.
really feel like you need that stuff that you're?
Okay.
Well, you can't like craft weapons. The only way to get weapons is to find them or buy them, but they're really expensive
Well, no,
when you buy
you
them.
can get
So
blueprints to use crafting materials to upgrade existing stuff.
yeah, that's not what I said. I said you can't craft weapons,
Yeah,
which is
you're
true.
crafting mods.
So you're saying you can
specifically for
find
it.
a weapon or buy a weapon and then use blueprints to upgrade it.
To put a mod on it. Yeah, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying
gotcha.
is like it to answer Brad's question, like it does feel desirable to like go into like one of the GRE anomaly sites or one of the I don't remember what they're called. The like ones you can only access at nighttime.
Like
And like
the Night Hollows or something like that.
yeah, the night hollows, that's what they're called.
I
And
totally fucked that jump.
yeah, you did. And when you find like a like a rare or artifact level weapon in there, it's like, oh fuck yeah, cool, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a good thing I picked this lock and found this mace that's more powerful than anything else I have. So it does feel desirable. It feels really desirable to find inhibitors, but
Yeah.
like
That's what I wanted to bring up, is the inhibitors are, because
but like oh
especially
my
early
god,
on your stamina is so low.
I
You
hate that you
need
need 3 of them and they always give them to you in 2s.
yeah.
No, you can even get them in
Ah.
ones.
Well,
I
yeah,
found
but
one.
that would make if they were just giving them to me in ones, and there was just like more places to get them, that would be better than what they have right now, where it's just like
there was the
they're really hard to
elevator.
get.
I saw the guy come out of the chair, Nick. He just like popped up out of it. Yeah.
So I forgot I got that on the actual footage. But yeah, I found one an inhibitor thing that was 3, and I was like, oh, thank God. So the other thing that's new in this game is you are infected. So when at nighttime you have an infection meter that slowly ticks down, and if it runs out, you'll die. So the only way to refill it is to find UV light or use like items to kind of refill it to fill up the meter again, or to find these inhibitors. When you find 3 inhibitors, you can increase your stamina or your health. But each time you do that, it also steadily adds more time to your overall infection meter. So like right now, I'm like I can basically last for 6 minutes before I run out of that meter runs all the way down. But like by the end of the game, I
Sorry
would
for
imagine it's going to
Robin.
be like 15-20 minutes. Thanks, Nolan. So, and these are all things too that I'm kind of still trying to decide if I like them or not. Like these systems
Need to
seem
find
cool.
a tube of Mandalay.
Oh my God. God damn it. Also, I've had 2 instances where I am reminded how terrifying this game is at night. Being chased by shit is terrifying in this game, but like it is also the best shit in the world when you realize, oh fuck, I'm in trouble, and then all of a sudden you go into fight or flight mode. Usually it's flight, and it's just like suddenly you have to do your best parkour you've ever done, or you're gonna die. And that loop or those moments are still absolutely incredible in this game. So
So
that's the kind of shit that's gonna keep me going.
a few things I want to talk about real quick,
Mhm.
because I feel like we're getting close to moving on.
Yeah.
First, going back to what we were talking about with the parachute. So one of the features of the game is similar to the first game, is that there is a call for help multiplayer co-op tool that you can do. That's
Right. Yeah.
a player can just press a button and they can request that a player jumps in and helps them out.
Like a
Is that their
signal
version
flare?
of the?
Mhm.
Wait,
I mean,
is
I
that
don't
what
know
that
if it's
is?
necessarily a signal flare. It
Yeah.
just popped up with a message saying, "Hey, this player is
And it's
requesting help." Hold
and
down
it's
a button
on
to
by
jump.
default. And like there are times where it will occasionally just like put your help button on for
Wait,
other people
so
to join.
I've seen several like red signal flares flying into the sky. Are those other players?
No. When
Okay,
that happens, I
No, those
believe
are
that's
events.
typically just NPCs.
Yeah,
gotcha.
those
Okay,
are like events.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay,
like you'll
But
come
like
across a guy in the middle of the night and he'll be about to turn and he needs like a UV mushroom or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But like all of this is on by default, so you get into this like weird cycle of like, oh, I accidentally hit a button and joined someone else's game, so I'm loading into their game, and then I get there, that person didn't know that they were online, and now someone's joined their game, and they immediately kick you, and then you're back into a loading screen waiting to load back into your game. Like it's just, it's so stupid.
And, and
I
also
hate it.
on a quick note, I really do want to do a co-op night with some folks here. But
Yeah.
I do think they've said a lot of what I've seen has said maybe wait before you try any of the multiplayer stuff until they patch it some more, because
Well, that and
the
like
roughest experience is
there's no
going to be the
crossplay.
multiplayer.
There's no
Yeah,
crossplay, and there is no generational crossplay yet.
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
that's
can't
a
play with
bummer.
any
But
of you fuckers.
yeah, that fucking sucks. But at the same time, this is again, they've said they're planning on support, and I believe them. They're going to support this game for like 5 years. So
Yeah.
I would imagine that stuff is coming probably sooner rather than later.
It could use
Um,
it.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
so I've only joined one multiplayer match. And I think it kind of fucked me over because the guy that I joined, I think he just took pity on me and gave me nothing but fucking legendary weapons and clothing. That
What?
are
Huh.
yeah, just fucking dropped on the ground and gave it all to me. Like stuff that you probably shouldn't get until you're like 20 or 30 hours into the game. He just there you go.
And so you threw it all away, right? To be fair.
Yeah,
You bitch.
about that.
You're rolling with this Oh, you
Oh
bitch.
my god. He's
Cheater.
playing a twinked character.
Cheater.
All right. We need to move on.
But from that
Like those
multi-
people in Diablo.
Yeah, I wish someone could give me a grappling hook.
Well, here's the thing. That's what I was going to be because of the multiplayer session. The guy I joined and his friend that joined him, they had the parachute, and I got to see the parachute in action.
Oh.
and it's fucking absurd. It's
In a good
just
way.
a hair down from the grappling hook in absurdity. Not to
Well,
put
that's what
too
I want
fine a
from this
point
game.
to it, but there is
Wait,
a
neither of y'all have the parachute yet?
no.
No, we
Oh
don't.
my god. Okay.
Brett,
Yeah.
again, I've only played like maybe 4 or 5 story missions at this point. So.
Why do you think Chris Davis is talking about it like he got some exclusive access from the developers? I've seen the parachute in action.
I mean, no, I'm just saying
the
there's.
game exists. It's out.
I mean, I'm just trying to explain here because
Ooh.
there is at some point in the game there is a world altering event that you can do, and evidently it boosts the capability of the parachute like tenfold. And I
that's
really
another
don't
thing
want
we
to
can't
spoil it,
really
but it's
speak to.
fucking cool.
Wait, that's a
This is-
story mission too?
I mean, I would have to assume because it's an event that's going on that is not happening in my game and not in any other game I've really watched.
I do think this is one of those things we need to move on because there's a lot we can't really speak to yet in this game. And
Wait, I
especially
have
the
one more
world-
thing I wanted to say.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I hate the voice acting in this game. I hate it.
I hate pretty much all the voice acting.
I hate it.
I mean,
I hate there's too many characters that are supposed to have like American accents and they're casting non-Americans to play them, and I don't know what it is. I don't know, like,
And there's a ton of American accents. In
Yeah,
all
I
of
don't
this
know-
Central European city.
yeah, I don't know why that's a choice. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they're like casting like Irish and English and Russian actors and saying like do an American accent. But like not every character in the game has an American accent. So it's not like the game's not set in America. Like like you didn't have to do that. And some of them are super bad. Like one of the two girls that
Like
your
Heavy
buddy
Rain bad?
Hackon, one of the two girls that your buddy Hackon lives with is supposed to be like Southern. And
oh yeah,
this actor has never heard a Southern accent except for like in the booth right before she's about to record. They're like, okay, this is about what it sounds like, and she tried to it's astounding. It's like that is like you guys.
I like it.
You
I
were
like
paid
You
it.
for
put
it.
this in the
75?
game. You put this in the game. Why'd you do
Yeah.
that? Like,
It is a bit of a weird choice. I do
It's
like. There's a couple
cheap
characters that I
local
think are
voice
fine.
talent. That's what it is. I mean, probably.
okay,
I do
then
like
don't
Hackon's
ask
voice
them to
acting.
do fucking accents that they don't know how to do.
It is a little strange.
No, nothing about that character like says that she needs to be from some made up European version of Northern Georgia. Like, you know?
Yeah,
Georgia the
no.
state, not the country.
It's-
I imagine it's because it's weird to have Rosario Dawson play such a major character in your game, and then everybody else sounds like they're from Eastern Europe.
Hey, Rosario
But
Dawson.
hey,
in
I mean,
this?
Rosario, you didn't know that? Rosario,
Yeah.
she's a big
Yeah,
part of the
she
marketing.
does
Yeah.
that. She does
Wait a
that.
minute, you're playing the game, isn't she? One like
Oh,
The
I haven't
soundtrack
encountered.
Yet, Brad.
No, I haven't encountered her in the game yet. I've only heard the opening cutscene that she narrates.
it's just
I
so
guess
weird.
It never clicked in my head.
It's just so weird because
like-
when you watch a video review, everyone's gliding around on their, their
that is
parachute,
not the
talking to
game we're
Rosario
playing.
Dawson, and
That's not the game we're playing.
I like how Brad is just choosing to ignore the fact that we've told him that most of our gameplay we've spent so far has been dicking around in the world and not progressing the story.
But this is the same shit with the last game. And I know you guys love the last game. I think it's a lot of fun. I never got to the grappling hook because I couldn't hack it. And like I don't think I'm gonna make it to the paraglider in this game. I don't think I can hack it. It's fun, but anytime the game wants me to go like do things to progress the story, it just kind of fucking sucks.
Oh man, I
Like,
I can't
Tell you
speak to
what,
this game yet. I had a fun enough time with the story in the first game that especially towards the very end, I really started to enjoy this. Maybe not the presentation, maybe not like the acting or whatever, but like the story hooked me at some point and kept me going through the end of that first game. I can't speak to this one yet.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
But-
what's going on with the story here, but I just like the whole overarching plot of like I'm trying to find my sister and I want to get revenge on that doctor that experimented on us when we were
Yeah.
kids. I have no idea how they're gonna wrap that up, but I can just feel it in my bones. I'm not gonna like it. Like
Yeah,
I can
it's-
just I feel like a really cheesy bad plot twist coming, and
Yeah,
You're
I think we
probably
already know
right.
what the actual plot is. So
Okay, well let's revisit this because by next week I'm sure I will, because we haven't even experienced like the world changing events for the most part where you're like I haven't even started like rezoning the areas yet. So there's a lot we can't really speak to yet.
Oh yeah, I only just got that's yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
damn
I
it,
don't
stop
So
sticking around, you guys.
it's
Dude,
fun
I
to dick
like
around in this game.
I haven't been dicking around, and it's still taking forever to
This
like
is
do
a
shit.
100-hour game.
Yeah,
This
It's not a
this is one of
100
those.
hour game.
Doesn't have to be.
dude, it feels like it.
It's
Yeah.
from what I've heard, it's like if you were trying to do everything, it's like 80 hours. But I've heard that you can get through it in like 60.
So
Hey,
this is
it's
an
also-
80-hour,
it's a
90-hour
short.
game for Nick.
It's
Dude.
also it's whatever you want it to be, guys. Who
You
cares?
you go play those first 10 hours and tell me that you don't think this is just never gonna end. Like
Hey, for me,
it
it's
just
a
feels
0 hour
like
game.
it just feels like it's never gonna end.
Hey, man.
Nolan, you like that first one?
Well, I haven't played this one, so right now, Brad's 0 hours.
Well,
If
true.
I
The
won't
map
play
is-
this one, who knows?
I will say the map is a lot cooler than the favela area of the first game. It feels like they took the back half of that game and were like, "Oh, maybe we should just do it more like this," and then did
Yeah,
that, and it's like
It's very vertical.
better.
It's very vertical, lots of fun exploring and trying to get to the higher up areas and like finding secrets and shit. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm into. That's what I'm here for. I love it so far. So let's move on. We'll talk about this again later on another episode. But for now, let's check in with Nolan. You finally started playing Pokemon Legends, right? And you got your first
Good.
shiny last night on the feed?
Arceus. Did you know that this game was officially called Arceus until people like informed Nintendo, like, dude, that sounds like ass, arse, and then they
Arse.
changed it officially to Arceus.
Arceus.
Like the
Arceus?
pronunciation.
Yeah, they officially changed the pronunciation.
Wow,
Didn't know that.
I didn't think
Yeah.
you could do that.
They did it.
There are
Interesting.
rules, man. Rules.
So funny.
Anyways, what's going on with Pokemon Legends Arceus, Nolan?
Well, I hate it.
Are you serious?
Because I like it so much.
Oh, okay.
It's
Finally.
it's kind of what I've always wanted Pokemon to be, in the sense that Pokemon just exists in a world.
I was about to ask you how far you are in this game, and then I saw you throw out a 30. You're fighting like a 30 level 30 with a Gyarados, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
Small Gyarados.
This one is actually a small Gyarados, yes, and that's the other thing, and that's kind of nice about this. Not every single Pokemon's the exact same size. Like, why would they? Why would they be? Not every bear in the woods is the same
Oh,
size.
Last
Why
week
would
we
every-
saw the man-eating Bidoof. We know.
No, I'm not talking about the alphas. I'm talking
you
about
couldn't-
non-alphas. There are different sizes.
Oh, all right.
Like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. They literally just have like a little fucking slider, and some Pokemon are just different sizes from others. I don't know to what extent it goes, but they definitely have. Like I said, I have a small Gyarados, but yes, I also do have some alphas, and I have
do.
some larger ones as well. But yeah, so like I said, I am enjoying it a lot, for the concepts of what it is. Is going around, and someone brought it up, and I can't remember, I might have been in Discord the other day, that in OG Pokemon games, it felt like you were always kind of being hunted, like you went into grass and all of a sudden a Pokemon would jump out and attack you. Versus this, it's like almost the opposite. Like you are the one who was hunting. Like you were the one who was hiding in the grass trying to sneak up on them. That being said, a lot of them are also just complete assholes, and they try to attack you, and they will like literally kill you.
It's nice so
as
you can
the
see their
character-
behaviors like manifest in the environment as opposed to like a text box telling you what's going on. In the
Mhm.
original, like you could like it's like I remember I forgot what they're called, the little sparrow looking dudes, kind of early on in the game. Like
Pidgey?
no, they're not Pidgeys.
No,
It's the new
Starlies.
Pidgey, Starlies. They tend to like see you and then turn the other direction and haul ass. So you kind of have to sneak through the grass. But like not all enemies or Pokemon will like turn and run from you. They'll behave
Correct.
differently, and I kind of like that. You can see that in the world.
Yeah, for sure. They're different attitudes. Some of them are aggressive, like Golducks don't give a fuck about you. But if a Psyduck sees you, he is coming after you. And so, it's just one of those things where, everyone's a little bit different. But so all of that being said, I could probably go on for quite a while about all the things I do like about this game. I think we talked about that a lot last week. Yes, there are trainer battles. I mean, that was kind of something that was we talked about last week, and I know you mentioned there are, but there's more than I thought there was.
Yeah.
But while those aren't the main part of the game, because there technically aren't Pokemon trainers, in the sense that because Pokemon are so new to this world, that's not like a phenomenon. That is why gyms do not exist. That is why there is no Elite Four, is because Pokemon has not been around that long in the eyes of the people. But anyway, I have a lot of technical problems with this game, and I think a lot of those could be fixed in patches. Um, but like I am infuriated anytime I have to look at my pasture. Pastures are the equivalent of this game's like Bill's PC, where it is anytime you catch a Pokemon that you cannot fit in your 6 slots that you have with you, they go to the pasture.
It gets sent to pasture.
Exactly. But the problem with that is there's no way to sort the pasture. It is just Pokemon get put in a big box essentially. And like right now I have 16 pages in my pasture. I don't know how much each page holds, like 30 Pokemon or something. Um, but say like I catch like 15 Starlies. Well, I don't need 15 Starlies. So I'm going to go in there and release a bunch, whatever, you let them go back into the wild. Sometimes you'll get some items for releasing them. But the problem is my 15 Starlies were not 15 in a row. There's 2 on this page and 1 on this page and 1 over here. And now I have a bunch of gaps in my pasture. And the next time I catch a Pokemon, it goes to that first gap.
Oh,
And so,
gross.
dude, and so it becomes me trying to fucking flip through the pages to find the Pokemon and scan, like, where the fuck is it? There's no way to sort them. You can do a manual search if you like type in their name, I think. But that also means you have to know the name. And here's the problem. I used to be a Pokemon master back in the day when there
Yeah,
weren't
Nolan?
800 Pokemon. I knew them all. I could name them all. I could probably even tell you what fucking number they were in the Pokedex. Well, first off, this game has a new Pokedex, so there are different numbers. I don't know all of them. I was streaming last night for a little bit just because I was trying to get some feedback from chat. And I was like, what the fuck is that Pokemon? I've never seen that before. And someone in chat said something, and I was like, I don't think that's Pokemon. I think you made that name up. Like, I have no idea what you're fucking talking about. It's just like, that's like a made up name. That's not a real Pokemon. But it's just like one of those things where it's like a lot of these are so new to me because I've been out of the series for a while because, it kind of got bad, that I'm just not familiar with them. So one of the reasons that kind of leads to a frustration to me is when I'm out exploring, I will see a Pokemon off in the distance. And it's like, what? I can clearly tell that that's a Magikarp because I happen to know Magikarp. But the problem is, the game has a concept of when you hold the trigger and you lock onto it, you can then bring up its entry in the Pokedex, right? So if you lock onto Magikarp, and then you press the button, it'll bring up his entry in the Pokedex. It will tell you the information you know about him if you know anything about them, potentially what foods they like if you want to try to use food to track them, how many of them you've caught and battled and all that stuff. Well, the problem is you have to be close enough to fucking tickle its grundle in order to lock onto it. Like, it is ridiculous how close you have to be to them to lock onto them. The reason that's a frustration is because so many of them potentially might be aggressive that if you get close enough, they just start attacking you. And then, like, I didn't want to fucking go into battle. I just want
Don't
to
different Pokeballs have different ranges?
yes and no. So
You're talking about for locking on.
I'm just talking about I'm not talking about catching it, Brad. I'm not talking about trying to throw a Pokeball at it. I just want to bring up its entry in the Pokedex.
Yeah, that's
This
weird.
game needs a fucking like set of binoculars that I could just look at, and I could lock onto a Pokemon 100 yards away and be like, "Oh, that's a Bidoof. Here's its stats."
Like Metal Gear Solid 5.
Exactly. Just
They only have a
something
draw
that I
distance
don't-
of 20 yards, so they couldn't implement that.
That
feature.
is
No,
Chris Davis brings up
that's-
a good point.
Hold on. Yes and no. The draw distance as a game is not as bad as I was led to believe. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I know people have
It's
talked
more of
about
just
popping and stuff like that.
Artistic drab, I think, is more of the issue.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel as technical. My issues aren't as technical as I was expecting. They're more focused on just art style.
You can so that's the thing. I don't care about the art style. I honestly, all the shit that I heard when I was like kind of before I played this, it doesn't look as good as Breath of the Wild and Poppin'. I don't fucking care about any of that. Those are the things I don't give a fuck about. I care about when I just saw a Pokemon and it ran away. Right? It got startled and ran off. I didn't get a chance to lock onto it. What was that Pokemon?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what it's fucking called. Let me scroll through my fucking. I have like 170 entries in my Pokedex right now. Let me just fucking scroll through them to find it. And I was talking about it with chat last night. I was like, why is there not like a concept of if you interact with the Pokemon in some way and you pull up your Pokedex, it should be there in the Pokedex. That should be the first thing that comes up. Like, hey, you just saw this Pokemon. Here it is.
Yeah.
It's like really dumb shit like that. That they're like, and all of it could be fixed so easily just via like it's quality of life shit. That is, and it's one of those things where, like I said, I've been enjoying this game. I really have, but it's all these little things that are just like kind of making my experience bad. Someone in Discord brought up earlier today that is a problem I agree with. I am constantly fumbling with the controls in this game. Like
Oh, me
start
too.
does
Yeah.
one thing, like I will often try to pause the game or bring up the map, and my instinct is to press the plus button. But no, now I'm fucking on my weird ear, and all of a sudden the Pokemon I was trying to like bring up the Pokedex to see or something now sees me because I'm a distraction. And
It's so
there's
it's so
Mhm,
weird. Like when you're in combat, you have to use the poke throw button, like the R2, to like
mhm,
throw out a Pokeball, or like it's so
mhm.
weird to do that in combat as well. Like definitely
Yeah.
some weird control stuff.
Like they just had some really dumb decisions in my opinion on how things
It's
work. Like
this
I
is not a
don't
good
like
game to like bounce back and forth. Like if you're playing this and also playing something else, then going back and forth, I find myself fumbling with the controls way more often because I'm constantly just resetting those like I'm resetting those neurons every time I switch to start playing something else, then coming back to this because it's so convoluted at times.
it, to bring up the Pokedex entry for a Pokemon, you have to lock onto it with left trigger and then press down on like the whatever I guess on the D-pad equivalent. And while that's not horrible on a Pro controller, it is so bad on a Joy-Con because the down is so far down on the Joy-Con. I honestly sometimes find it easier because just the way my hand works. When I've locked on with the trigger, my thumb has so I will literally pull my other hand over and press down on the fucking Joy-Con to bring up the Pokedex. And that is like I have pretty fucking big hands. Like how are
I'm not gonna
children
say
playing this
anything.
game? Isn't this like a fucking kids game? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Like
Well,
are they not having a hard time with that?
are you still using like the? You're not. Are you playing with like the Joy Cons? Because like the distance for the from the analog to the buttons and
No,
the
no, no.
whatnot is
That's
different
what I
with Joy
said.
Cons
That's what I said. On the Pro controller,
on
it's
Pro
not bad.
Controller.
I can do it. But the problem is, I do want to play this game handheld. It is an okay game to play in small bursts, like before bed or like after work. Sometimes we'll go hang out with the dogs in the backyard for an hour. And I used to play on my phone, but now I'll just bring my Switch and I'll play some Pokemon. And so obviously don't bring my Joy-Con in my Pro controller with me. But like I said, it's just all these like little like control things are weird. Like I said, I don't like how they handle the Pokedex. I don't like how they handle the pastures. Um, but like the overarching game itself is fucking fantastic. I've been having a lot of fun. Like I said, just going around and interacting with the Pokemon, trying to catch a bunch of them, seeing them. I like I fucking love, sorry, let me rephrase. I love that when one of my Pokemon faints in battle and I have to bring out another one, it pulls up all of their moves list and shows me which ones are not effective, super effective. That is so fucking handy for someone who's been away from Pokemon for a while.
It
And
really
yes,
shows you that. I
yes,
feel like I've been looking for that because I heard
no, it
someone
is
mention
there.
that, but I don't know where to look. I don't know
So,
what I'm
It's
so
probably
when,
looking
because
if
you're
you're,
looking
if,
in the. It's probably because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
buried.
yeah, no. So there are a couple of different menu items you can kind of hide, and I don't know if you can hide that one. I'm not sure, but if one of your Pokemon fades and you're having to select another one on the right half of the screen, it will bring up their move list. These are the moves it knows, and it will show you the effectiveness of them.
Does it show me that when I'm just eh,
If you're just in
attacking?
battle, there is a like a I think it's almost like I want to say right trigger is what will hide and show that or Y or something. There's a button that will hide and show that. But I really like that because once again, while I do know that a Pikachu is weak to ground attacks, and I know that like a fucking a dragon Pokemon is weak to ice, Hippopotas. What type of Pokemon is that? It's like ground, like, but it's not water though. Even though it's a water Pokemon, it's like I don't fucking know it all. And so being able to have that is super handy, and that is something I am very grateful for. The other thing that I don't think got brought up last week, the way moves are handled in this game is completely different from any Pokemon game ever before. In old Pokemon games, any given Pokemon could know 4 moves. If you want to teach them a fifth, you got to get rid of one of the other ones because they can only have 4. In this, they literally can know every move. As soon as they learn a new move, it gets put into their move catalog. Granted, they can only ever have 4 at a time, but at any time you want, you can swap those in and out. Besides, in the middle of a fight,
Oh my
that is
god.
so
Game changer.
nice.
That is a.
It is so nice.
I thought that was always going to be a stereo staple that they would never ever fucking change that.
They finally
Uh,
got rid of that. Another thing that's very nice about moves is the concept that there are normal moves, agile moves, and strong moves. That makes sense to me. That makes sense that if like I'm gonna go punch someone, I'm a Machop, right? And I'm gonna punch someone. Why is it always the exact same force? Why can I not do a light jab versus a fucking haymaker? You can now. I really like that concept that you can choose to say, because like we mentioned last week, there's those turn meters. That makes a difference though. If you go for an agile move, you don't use as much, I guess, energy or whatever. So you potentially might be able to do 2 agile moves in a row versus 1 normal move. Or if you do one of the strong moves, you might not be able to move for your opponent might get 2 moves in. But if you're able to knock them out completely with that strong move, it doesn't matter. So I really
Yeah.
like a lot of the concepts that it's like I said, it's all just like the fucking interacting with the menus and stuff. It's just like fucking unnerving to me.
Well, hopefully they fix some of those things. It does seem like a lot of these systems are moving in a direction,
Mhm.
and for the most part, the right direction.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
you just gotta learn to navigate the menus and make smart
yeah.
decisions. Because on the surface, everything kind of feels a little similar, but like you said, if you dig a
Mhm.
little bit deeper and you think about things like the move list, the move catalog, and the different speeds and whatnot, suddenly it becomes a much deeper or a much more flexible combat system, I suppose,
So, so,
which is
so
nice.
Neatwork brought something up in chat. And I didn't realize that it always shows you the effectiveness of the move, but it might just be it's an icon unless I guess you have that extra menu pulled up. So circle is super effective, triangle is not very effective, and X has no effect.
Mm.
So that is
Yeah,
handy
I
that
never
it
would have
shows you
known
that.
that.
Yeah. So thanks for letting us know that. Like I said, I did know that you can see that stuff when you're switching out your Pokemon. Actually, here's one of the things you see me interacting with a mass outbreak. There was a mass outbreak of hippopotas. Um, and what that essentially means is when you're traveling between areas on the map, sometimes you'll see an icon of a Pokemon. And when you see that, that means there's a mass outbreak, which means there's like a bunch of them. There's not like 2 or 3, there's like 20 of them or some shit. And if you go there, you can catch a bunch of them. But from what I learned, is that's a good way to find shinies because there are so many of them. It increases your odds of interacting with a shiny, and that's actually what happened last night when I was streaming. I was literally saying, "Hey, good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out." And I was like, "Hey, I'm on the edge of town. Let me pull up the overworld map, just see if there's a mass outbreak." And there was, and it was Toxicroak. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's go check it out. I highly doubt there will be a shiny." And I show up, and there's no shiny. But as you catch them, more will spawn because it is this mass outbreak of them. And as
So,
more spawned, eventually a shiny one spawned.
so when you see, since you could just see Pokemon right on the map, you just see a shiny just hanging out.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
I have a
I think
question.
I think a little musical note will play if one pops up near you. But yeah, usually they'll have a little shimmer to them, and obviously they'll be a different color. What's up, Nick?
Shiny's a big deal. What's the?
Shinies
I
have
don't.
always been a big deal. They've always been around, but I think honestly, and out of any game, this one probably makes it the easiest to catch them.
They're
It's like a
just
Which
color
special version of
swaps.
that. Oh, it's
Yeah,
just
they
color
are
swaps.
just color swaps. That's all they are. But it's more of the concept of I have and not all the shinies look good. Some people don't like I shiny this one. I don't like how that one looks. But
But a shiny Ponyta is very desirable.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why they kind of made that the side quest in this game, as a kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. um, but that yeah, and so while technically that shiny Ponyta was my first shiny ever, the game made me do it. The Toxicroak was literally the first actual
Dynamic one that was
rare
like just
shiny I ever actually caught. Yeah.
cool.
So real
Well,
quick, maybe you answered this last week and I just don't remember it all. But like, is there like a not necessarily cohesive, but like present, like ongoing story in this game? Because all
Oh
I've
yes.
yeah.
ever been told is that it's just an experience.
No.
No. There's
There's
100%
definitely a
a
story.
story. It's
Okay.
boring as fuck. But there's a
There you go.
story. I don't know if you saw. I don't
It's
know if
an
you saw my
isekai.
message. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my message in the. I highly doubt you're in the Pokemon channel, Chris. But there, I posted a screenshot of the game, and it was us, and then we're in like the commander's office, and someone is telling me something, and she's like, "Please let me elaborate," or she's like, "Let me elaborate," and my reaction was, "Please don't." Like you don't need to. Like this is a situation where you say, "Oh, is there a story?" Chris Davis, they take a 2 sentence objective to tell you, and they stretch it out into like a 500-word essay. Like
Yeah,
it
Uh,
is like
it's
it, and I am being a little hyperbolic. It is not that bad, but it is they use way too many words when they could use way fewer. And maybe it's just because I'm older and I'm like, get to the fucking point, buddy. Okay, this one Pokemon's one in wild. Can you go help us? Sure, there you go. That's all you had to say. You didn't have to go into like some lore about the town and when we first founded this. And I'm like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I just want to fucking catch cool Pokemon.
just on a final note in regards to the story. And I can't speak to this. Obviously, you're much farther in it than I am, and clearly you're
Mhm.
not super into the story. But I read a couple of reviews before I decided to pick this up, and both of the reviews that I read said that it has what they consider to be a really good story, especially towards the end of the game. And based on what I've played so far and hearing about what you've talked about so far, I'm like I find that really hard to believe. But maybe there's something. Maybe
Well,
it's
the
something that gets over.
presentation of said story is very budget, so I can
Yeah,
imagine that.
maybe
It,
you
it
really
is.
have to be into Pokemon lore to like really
Mhm.
appreciate the story at some point. But like I almost fall like sometimes I just catch myself completely tuning out when
Oh
people are
yeah.
talking.
No,
Um,
yeah. I'm like, get it fucking over with. I'll try and catch the highlights.
yeah.
Honestly, like I read more of the side quest story than I do the main story because generally the side quest story is, oh, these APOMs have been stealing my wares. Can you help me catch them? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, bud. That is the equivalent of what the main story needs to be. Like, just he gets to the point, you go and do it, you return him. He's like, "Oh, thank you for helping me stop these APOMs."
Do you think
Oh, they
Game
stole
Freak
my wares again. Like, it's just like funny shit like that. What's up, Brad?
Do you think Game Freak is just like their office? Every like their desks are made of like stacks of cash, their chairs, they're just piles and piles of cash, and they're like, I don't know how to turn this into a polished, expensive video game. That like they don't know how to turn money into something that's better than this.
Are you
I don't
asking if
understand.
in reality there's no amount of money you could throw at Game Freak to have them make it into a better
Well,
game?
I don't understand. Do they not understand you're supposed to like hire people who are good at stuff, voice
Oh
actors,
my god!
animators? Like
So
like Monster Hunter
writers?
Stories 2 has these beautiful cutscenes. It's fully voice acted, amazing animations, and Pokemon's over here looking like a fucking Dreamcast game. I don't understand. They have the money. Do you
I
know
will say,
that
Brad, I
That's the
will
Pokemon is
point.
say,
literally
They
the
have the
single
money.
most profitable like piece of like franchise media anything in the world?
Brad, that's why they don't have to care.
Yeah, they already have the money.
No,
So
that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Brad, they're gonna release a patch to this game. They're like, here's the new Pokemon for this patch. It's Shitmon. He's a pile of shit.
But
Now
see,
buy it, and
here's
people will.
here's why that doesn't make sense. Look, they got the youngins. They'll always have the youngins, and they'll have the people who grew up playing it. But they don't
Sure.
necessarily have the people who are on the outside who aren't a part of that. They're not young and they didn't play when they were younger, but they could have those people. And because Pokemon game fans translate into like people who buy the merchandise, which is really what makes it such a profitable franchise, like getting more people in just means more money on all facets of Pokemon. So I don't understand why they don't spend the money to make this look sexy as fuck. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
maybe
It,
maybe
it
that
could
maybe
it
they
could be better.
maybe they thought this maybe Nintendo's internal view of this game was that it was a risk that they didn't know if this was going to pan out the way that it is. So like they didn't want to go all in on this. You know what I mean? Like
That doesn't make
maybe
sense.
I'm just
They
spitballing
have
here.
the
I don't
money.
fucll know. We need to move on. We need to move on.
Hold on, I want. But before we
We'll
do, I
never
do
know.
want to say, yeah, yes, Brad, I do agree. The lack of voice acting is shitty. I will say that this game does have a lot more dialogue than Monster Hunter, and that it could potentially lead to
Oh no,
why.
I'm talking about stories too, which is a
Okay,
very like
sure,
story driven
sure.
game.
But what I will say is a frustration that I have is that all of the Pokemon have their like fucking like OG like game noises that sounds like a fucking synthesizer or whatever, like their battle cries and shit like that.
Pikachu opened
Whereas
his
like
mouth and I was like, wait, you're telling me the Pikachu doesn't make the Pika Pika? Like, it doesn't do that in
no,
this game?
it does not.
Nope.
And that's just like that's a frustration for me because obviously the anime's been around for long enough. We know what 99 well, I would say that the thing is not all 800 fucking Pokemon are in this game. There's only like 240 of them, so you can't be like, "Oh, well we couldn't voice act 800." I don't think they're ever going to put all 800 in this. So they don't need to do it. But like it's
Uh,
just a little more than just their random synthesizer like what the fuck
that,
is that? Like that's not what
that's
a
a
Pokemon are supposed to sound like.
Yeah,
Considering
that's
they've
true.
had an
corner.
anime series for 25 years and there's been a ton of games that have been
Yeah.
made, they've got to have the sound clips.
How
Like,
can they not marry those two? That's
there was
really
a Pokemon
weird.
game that came out earlier last year that had the Pokemons doing their lines. Like from
Pokemon
the
at this
show and
point
whatever.
should just look like the anime. You know, it should be like, remember, you know, when we played Dragon Ball Fighter Z and you're just like, this just looks like Dragon Ball Z. That's what Pokemon should be like. It should just look like the cartoon.
I totally agree with that
Anyway,
statement.
all of my bitching aside, I am really enjoying this game. I am going to probably finish it. I don't think I'm going to
Had you
100%
played this at all?
Pokedex.
But you hadn't even touched this last week, so
I picked it up Friday like afternoon.
and you've been going at it hard for a while. Looks
Mhm.
like based on the numbers and stuff that I'm seeing in your footage.
I think
you've
I'm
been really-
22 hours in.
Jesus Christ, I'm still at like 4.
I think Nick, are you done?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I should have played. I should have played Chicory, man. I should have played Chicory.
Also, do you want to hear this bullshit? Because I highly doubt y'all have traded. Shakusky, one of our community members, was like, "Hey, you want me to give? I have this cool Pokemon. You want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
He's
So we go to
scammed.
trade. Yeah, exactly. We go to trade, and I think he gave me like an Ursa ring or a Teddy Ursa or something like early. Like early being like right before I went to the area where I got it. Whatever. Anyway, so I got it from him. But the thing is, like when you go to trade them, do you remember in like the old school games, you would like put it in the machine and it would go up the tube or whatever and go down to the other one? In this, a fucking little like hole opens in the Pokeball and a fucking rocket like engine comes out of it. And the Pokeball like fucking has a built-in rocket and it shoots across the sky to the other person, and then you see your Pokeballs passing each other. And
That's
fucking
cool.
make any it's cool, I guess, but it didn't make any sense to me. Where the fuck is the Pokeball getting this fuel? It would make more sense if you put the Pokeball in a big fucking cannon and shot it versus the
Nolan,
Pokeball itself having a little
But I mean,
jet.
you're already
Oh.
making Pokeballs out of this technology
Sticks.
out of rocks and leaves. So like,
Yeah,
That is true, you
we
are.
accept now that Pokemon are magic, right?
Oh, they
Technology
bring
for
that up. They bring that up in this game, Crispy. Like, oh, Pokemon have the ability to shrink down into incredible sizes, so we can fit them in these balls.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, really? They're saying that the Pokemon do that, and not the Pokeball?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's the Pokemon.
So they are
shrink.
magic. They're just like, this is magic, and
Yeah.
they still end up building like fucking Pallet Town and Viridian City and shit. But like they, oh, Pokemon.
Yeah. And on that note, let's take a break. When we come back, Brad's gonna talk a little bit about Superman. Supraland. Sorry, Crispy got all excited for a second. Superland, 6 inches under. And then we'll answer some questions from our community. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I might still figure out a way to do that. Anyways, welcome back to the show, everybody. That was supposed to be a short break, but of course, as we always do, we ended up talking about fucking tiers of fast food for like the longest time in the world. So, again, if you like our show, if you listen to it at home, you get the good stuff during the break, and you got to be here live to catch that shit. So, Nolan's raising his hand. What's up, Nolan?
Yeah, after the show, before we all scatter for the evening, can we as a group do one of those fast food tier lists together?
Sure.
Yeah.
sure,
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
fucking do it.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're only gonna get that shit if you tune in live at twitch.tv/4Player Podcast.
That reminds
on
me
Podcast
though.
Nights.
That reminds me though. I need to look up some Vampire Survivor powers tier lists because
Damn. I'm sure
I
they
thought you were gonna
exist.
say fan fiction for some reason. Anyways, okay. Brad, you're actually up. We only have one more game on the docket here, and you've been playing some I keep fucking saying Superman.
Supraland.
Supraland.
Superman, 6 feet under,
6 inches under.
6 inches under. Yeah.
I do want to hear about this, Brad, because obviously
This
I
is
am
the
also a big
new
fan.
This is the new Superland mini campaign expansion, kind of like Superland Crash. And it's
You say mini, but that was a pretty
yeah,
substantial
and
thing
this
too.
one is meaty too, right? Like it's just like a little extra, not little extra Superland
I keep
campaign.
wondering, it's like, how are they gonna make Superland 2 if they just keep making dope ass
It's
campaigns for
coming.
fucking Superland 1?
Well, I mean, look. If the guy who makes Superland has proven anything, it's that he can make a game and ship it, because he did.
Yes.
You know, he did that with these little expansions that are not little at all. And this one, so Crash kind of had like a unique like loop, I guess, but because of that, in a lot of ways, it felt pretty different than the original Superland.
What is this
This one
Minecraft shit that you're?
this one feels more like Superland proper, and it's good. I mean, like, Superland is good. Like, I remember when I first started it. Sometimes when I think of Superland, I'm like, that's kind of jank or whatever, right? And when you first start playing it, it's like, this is kind of whack. But then you get like the 2 times speed and the higher jump, and you're flying around. You're like, oh yeah, Superland. This is fun to play. And I don't know if there's honestly too much to say, except for that if you like Superland, you're gonna like this. It has all those elements of like secrets, and like, oh, this is like a Metroidvania. There's a lot of exploration. I have these
Word.
abilities, and I can interact with the world in like cool ways. And I also think this one is I guess the original was also very funny and clever, and this is
It
still
was, yeah.
funny and clever. Like, I'm like, the Great Rakening happened, where the kid in the yard like was started raking the fucking yard, and everyone's sunk into the ground, and there's like this underground like society that like has no color anymore. And I got to this part in the game where like everyone's living in like this hamster cage, and as soon as I go in, all these guys in suits come out, and they're all like, oh, we all live up in the top level or whatever. And they're like, close the ramp, don't let this guy up into the top level where all the rich. It's like this whole like capitalism thing, and it's pretty funny. And he's all talking about trickle down economy, and he goes up to his like super leap pad up to his mansion in the top of the hamster cage and closes the ramp, and then you actually see like a little tube, and all the coins are going up to the top levels. And then you go into like people's houses, and they have chests in their houses with like little tubes coming out of the chests, and all the coins are going into these tubes, which are all funneling up to the top part of the hamster cage. And I'm like, this is pretty clever. Everyone's making
Sounds
like,
like a perfect game for Crispy.
well, I mean, I think we all hate capitalism here now.
I know.
Oh yeah, that's
I know, but
Yeah, that's
so-
not that's not my identity alone.
Crispy is just very, very.
I'm just a man of the people.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I was going for.
But it's clever, and it's cool. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I I feel like when I'm not playing Superland, I think less of it than when I am playing Superland. And I was just
Yeah.
instantly reminded, like, oh, this is good. This is like a
Like-
well-made first-person like
I
puzzle
will-
platformer game.
I will
And-
definitely say that it does not look it's not the best looking game.
I've
It is
really come
not
to
like
love the way this game looks.
No,
to
it
be
definitely
honest.
has an aesthetic. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm saying it is not like it doesn't look like Journey or something like that. It's not Hollow Knight. It doesn't have the story of like an Uncharted game or something like that. It doesn't have that. But what it has is fucking charm oozing out of every orifice. Like Brad said, there's always so much humor. There's
Yes,
always
yes.
secrets hidden everywhere. You go
Mhm.
behind some rock and you see a dead guy dressed like Goku or like a Link, or there's always like references to other games. Clearly in this, he was doing some Minecraft related stuff. There's always references to so many other franchises. It's always just kind of like a wink and a nod. But it's always
solutions
just
to
it always
puzzles
just leaves you
are-
with a grin.
The solutions to most of these puzzles are so experimental and
Mhm.
out of the box that it's fantastic. I actually picked this game, like I bought this game on launch day thinking I was going to jump right into it, and then I think it was launch day. It was I picked it up the day that Nobody Saves the World came out on Game Pass. I realized that Nobody Saves the World came out on Game Pass. It's like, oh, I'm going to download that and just check it out real quick, thinking I was going to jump right back in, go to Superland. I ended up playing a bunch of Nobody Saves the World. I haven't touched this yet, but I really love Superland.
It's good. I feel like, all of us here have played it, except, of course, Chris Davis. But I feel like as soon as you get into it, you'll immediately get really addicted to the loop and
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
I
just-
got
I
this
just need
shit, I got this upgrade,
one
now
more
I can go
upgrade.
here. And
Why has
it's
Chris
good.
Davis not played this game? I demand to know.
He's sort of the exception on a lot of our things that we deem are good. Let's hear it, Chris Davis.
You're muted. You're muted,
You're
Chris
muted.
Davis.
I'll repeat my point again in that I don't like to play games when they've already been talked about extensively at the same time on the podcast. I like
Sure.
to go in blind and experience them on my own.
So you're waiting like
Dude,
4 years
honestly-
for your memory to
Yeah,
fade.
basically.
honestly,
That's why I waited so long to
nothing-
play Nier.
I would say nothing
Sure.
of this game has been spoiled or anything, just because it's one of those things where even if you watch this footage, like you were seeing, like, or maybe Brad showing a spoiler, I don't know. You were seeing a fraction of a percent of the things that exist in this game. It's one of those situations where I highly doubt by the time you play it, you would even remember, what Brad just did, just because the sheer amount of different areas and things that interact
Fully
with them. Like
loaded,
Nick
as
said,
they say.
a lot. What's up?
It's like it's a fully loaded. Like there's just
Oh yeah, there is
so
so
many
much, and
mechanics.
there's so many puzzles in so many unique ways. And like, even though I've played both the original game and Superland Crash, like I know I left so much on the table with those games. Not because I didn't enjoy them, just because some of the puzzles are so hard, and like you're kind of sitting there and trying to solve it, and you're almost even trying to kind of glitch the game a bit, which the game doesn't always frown upon. Like if you are able to solve a puzzle in a way you weren't supposed to do it, you did it. Good job. Like it doesn't punish you for trying to kind of glitch the game a bit. It's
Right,
just kind of how you use your abilities to interact with the world.
Welcome back. Sorry, we had a minor technical difficulty we had to sort out. I think we got the point across about Superland. We're gonna move on now to the Nintendo Direct that happened just yesterday, 40 minutes long. Brad's gonna run us through the list
Yes.
of everything that was announced.
Starting with, let me tell me if you've heard this before. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. It's another Fire Emblem Muso game, Dynasty Warriors game. The last one encompassed the whole series. This one is just 3 houses based. Kind of like how the second Zelda Muso game was only Breath of the Wild. Boom, next thing.
Next.
Next topic. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. It officially got a date. It's coming out April 8th, which is good. They said, I guess they officially now confirmed that it is a remake of the 2 full campaigns. The War Room is there. Multiplayer is going to be in. Now, they didn't say anything about asynchronous multiplayer where you can have multiple games going with different people like they did in Wargroove, like you do in like Words with
they do
Friends.
it, right?
That's what I think Advance Wars really needs.
Like,
And if it's
Brad,
not, you have to like
I
log
think that
into a
would-
battle.
I think that would be difficult to do it any other way, because I think it's one of those things where games like that aren't really designed to, okay, let me sit down for an hour and a half and not have to like step up or
Yeah,
walk away. And if
yeah.
I accidentally disconnected, I'm ruined. So I really
Yeah.
do think if they do it, it is going to be similar. And yeah, you're going to be able to do, one turn at a time. It's the only way that makes sense.
Well, I don't trust them because, my dreams never come true. Next up on the list
That's
is
true.
That is not
No Man's
fucking true
Sky
at
is
all.
coming to Switch, which seems
Hey, I'm gonna be
Crazy.
honest. So I was in the middle of a work thing when this was happening, and I only got to catch like bits and pieces of it. So some of the stuff I'm hearing for the first time right now. This is the first time I'm hearing that No Man's Sky is coming to the Switch.
It's coming
That-
to the Switch, baby.
so. You have not been okay. Well,
Great! I can't wait to
exciting,
buy
I
it for a
guess.
4th time and not play it again.
Wow.
Mario
Lord.
Strikers Battle League. Mario
That
Strikers.
was
big-
a
that's
delightful
a big-
surprise.
That's a big
People-
surprise. My college roommate somewhere is like screaming at the top of his lungs right now. 'cause he's
People
obsessed
really
with that
like
game.
Mario Strikers, and at first my reaction was like, yeah, but they've been doing such a bad job with the Mario sports games lately, where they always seem exciting when they first reveal them, but then they come out and they're like, oh, feels very content light. It's just kind of lackluster. The story mode isn't as cool as it used to be. It just kind of sucks now. But someone pointed out that this is not Camelot. it's not the people that make tennis and golf. It's Next Level who did the original Strikers, I believe, and they're good at making games. So this
Nice.
could be really exciting.
And also now they have a Rocket League mode.
Yeah. Some Splatoon 3 shit. I don't know. None of us are really Splatoonies here. Splatoonies? What are they
When
called?
they were
Splatoon
showing off
fans.
the
They're called.
co-op experience.
I don't know. I'm kind of. I might try the new Splatoon.
Salmon Run is back in Splatoon. That's what that trailer was. Um, and then they showed a trailer where the first half of the trailer was cinematic. They showed Vanzers. It was Front Mission, and I was excited. I was like, "This, what is this? This is Front Mission," and it's probably this could very well be Front Mission 6. That's what I thought, and I was excited. And it wasn't Front Mission 6. It's a remake of Front Mission 1, which is fine. Remakes are fine. Um, the problem is this is
Mercury
this is
Steam?
Forever Entertainment, and they're like kind of crappy. They're responsible for like other remakes and stuff. They did that Panzer Dragoon remake that sort of like sucked all the pretty charm out of the Saturn release and made it all weird and budget looking at the same time. Like, I guess technically it looks more modern, but it just sort of like looks smooth and wrong and gross. So and when they finally got to the gameplay of this Front Mission game, it was like this, it looks better than a Super Nintendo game, but they're sort of approximating what the later Front Mission games look like the Front Mission 3, Front Mission 4, 5, and stuff. But it didn't reach those levels. It looked kind of like the camera was real static and the animations were bad, and it just looked really budget. And later Front Mission games, they were like cinematic with like swooping camera angles and cool like zoom ins and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I guess technically it looks better than a Super Nintendo game now, but like this doesn't look good. It looks budget, and Front Mission didn't really look budget ever. So it's just frustrating. And then they also say at the end of the trailer that they're also remaking Front Mission 2, which is a PlayStation 1 game, and that one looks a lot more like Front Mission 3. So I don't know if I really don't know what a remake of that's going to look like, but because it wasn't a Super Nintendo game, but Front Mission's a series
Probably
I
gonna
care a
look
lot
exactly
about.
the
It was
same.
nice to see it. It was just not in the way that I was hoping. Forever Entertainment, they're not good. They're bad. They make bad games. So I
Oh, damn. Shots
we'll
fired.
see.
Chris
We'll
Davis, what did
see.
you say?
I mean, I
There's
I
some
was
other
saying that
stuff.
I was
Lots
saying
and
that
lots of
Wait,
ports.
Brad, hold on. One second. Chris Davis was talking. What
I mean,
did you say,
I'm
Chris?
looking forward to playing because I've never played the Front Mission game, and I've got no
but
problem with the fact that it's a remake because the last Front Mission game was about 12 years ago, and it was done by Double Helix. So like,
Front
you know,
Mission Evolved, the third person shooter. Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
I
not the
I
last
thought
Front
Brad
Mission
was
game. The
straight
last
up
Front Mission
falling out of
game
his chair.
is Front Mission 5 for the PS2, which never even got localized. If they were going to remaster and bring out a game to us in the West on the Switch, they should have just done that. I don't think that's a good first place to start with Front Mission, but okay, Chris Davis. Um, that's fine. I mean, maybe it's good.
Keep going.
There's some ports like Force Unleashed and the Ezio collection and stuff. I don't know. Maybe they all kind of looked framey, honestly. Chris B might be interested in SD Gundam Battle Alliance. No,
He's
no.
shaking his
Okay.
head. That's a no.
Okay, so
I don't
here's
like
a big one.
SD.
What?
I don't like SD.
Oh, okay. Well, this game looked pretty wild, but fair
I mean,
enough.
that's sure.
Um, Chrono Cross is getting a remaster.
Hell
It looks
yeah.
good, and it also includes, for the first time, Radical Dreamers, which is technically the sequel or prequel to Chrono Cross that never got localized in the West. It's a text adventure game, but it is part of that story, and it's included in the remaster, and that's really cool. That's exciting for Chrono Cross fans for sure,
and
because
it's
you
coming
can't.
to everything on April 7th, not just the Switch.
Right.
Yeah,
Not just
a lot
Switch.
of
It
the
is coming to
stuff is
other
coming.
things too.
A
But
lot of the stuff is coming very soon, and it's very surprising and cool.
But I will say that being someone who is both, let me preface this, a Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross fan, it does seem like they did a little more than just like, oh, they're re-releasing it. It does have new art assets, everything
Yeah.
scaled up. They said they did some background scaling, which is nice because obviously games of this era, especially big RPGs that had those kind of static, painted backgrounds, look
Yeah.
horrible when they get scaled up. So doing some stuff on that, new like character models, updated music, which Chrono Cross does have some fucking
Okay,
awesome
so
music.
that was one thing that kind of like I was like, that sounds theoretically that sounds good, but what exactly do they mean by that? Because that soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks ever made, in my opinion, and the thought of them messing with it in any significant way is kind of scary to me.
Sure, but
Like, because they said
look what
enhanced soundtrack. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
But I mean, look, shit gets better. Like the technology for that sort of stuff has gotten better.
It's
Like I don't think they're gonna fuck with it that much.
They
And
probably just
and when they
remastered the
do,
audio, really.
Well, I was going to say that they probably, it's one of those things where, especially back in the day, PS1 discs could only hold so much data. And especially with big RPGs, you had to skimp everywhere you could. They probably have the raw tracks that are much higher quality, and they are probably using those to actually say, so, instead of
Well, so
having this, audio be at like, 90 kilobits, it's at a higher bit rate, so you get more through, is my
Yeah.
assumption.
and I think
Yeah.
they're probably going to be actual remixes, and that's exciting too because the old music didn't go away. You just now have more of an awesome sound, right? Like
I
just
know, I
like
would
with
just
the new
hate to
Nier
get I would
tracks.
hate to get the remaster and have the actual experience of playing it again be fresh, and then have like this inferior version of the soundtrack if
I
that
don't
was the
think that'll
case.
be
You know what I mean?
inferior.
I'm just saying. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to voice my concern a little bit.
Hmm.
I'm excited for this.
Um, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Did y'all at least watch that trailer?
This
Dude,
is the
it's
open
looking
world Kirby game.
good.
I didn't watch it yet.
Ooh, fucking
it's
Nick, you didn't
weird.
get to see the mouthful?
Mouthful
Oh,
mode.
It's we're getting
It's-
into
Uh-oh.
Kirby was already really weird with like vor porn, and now it's just
Yeah.
amped up to
He
11.
like sucks in cars and stuff, and then like
Nick,
his
his
skin
mouth is
stretches over the
stuffed.
car.
Yeah,
It's,
I've been seeing lots of
I hate
memes about
that.
this.
It's like it's not like he turns
gross.
into a car. He just like he could
he's
just
turned into a car
is-
before.
he could
okay?
just
This
sit
is
on
something
top of the
new.
car. He could just sit on top of the car. He doesn't have to like
Oh, but
stretch his mouth all over 90% of it.
Is he likes it in his mouth though?
Oh, I know, but that doesn't mean we should be encouraging him.
Wait, guys. I serious. Wait. So, did they really call it mouthful mode?
yeah,
Yes.
Oh man, that's the title of this week's episode, right there.
Oh, man.
My baby, got it.
it's pretty
But-
gross.
But
But it's
hold
cool.
on, does it look good?
It's like Cappy.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
It does, Nick. It
Okay.
does. But I will say, there's some other stuff besides the car. There's like, he like eats a vending machine, but obviously since it's still big, it's big enough for his body to wrap around. But now instead, his mouth is like the vending machine dispenser, so he's like shooting out cans out of his mouth. Or he like eats a giant light bulb, and when he turns it on, his like bright. It seems like some pretty cool stuff. And yes, like Brad said, it is
This is
very
like
much
open world, right?
Cappy-esque.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I guess I don't really know. I mean, it's
My
open.
assumption is it's going to be similar to like almost like Odyssey or whatever, where there will
Maybe.
be some big open areas, but there's probably going to be some linear sections throughout it too.
But there's stuff like there's like some town building and stuff in it. I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah,
And,
when you save the Waddle Dees, like you have like a hub town you go to, and like the more you save, it kind of starts like enhancing that town, and more starts showing up
Yeah.
there. So
yeah, and you can like upgrade powers and stuff. It
Mhm.
definitely seems like there's a lot going on. This is
I'm excited
kind
for
of
it.
an exciting moment for Kirby, and it's coming out in
Speaking-
March, which is
Holy
crazy.
shit.
Like so much of this stuff is coming out really soon.
Yeah, I also didn't expect Kirby to be out that fast. Speaking of Waddle Dee's nuts, Brad, do you want to real quick
fuck?
mention the thing that happened on Twitter that everyone knows suddenly?
That transition made no sense.
Yeah, we can wrap up with that, I guess.
All right.
Let's
Well,
get,
okay, let's keep going then.
you're talking about the leaks.
Yeah, the leaks.
Yeah. We'll get to that. The Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series, which I mean, I really like Klonoa. This is Klonoa 1 and 2. I guess it's the remake of Klonoa that came out on Wii, a remaster of that, and then a remaster of Klonoa 2, which was a PS2 game. All those games are like super rare and like impossible to buy. So like it's exciting
right.
because they're really good games and they're coming out on Switch. And if you like a good puzzly platformer, like just with a cool vibe, like highly recommend maybe picking this up. Good Klonoa's good people for sure. And you'll cry at the end of the first game. Everyone does. It's really sad. It's really weirdly sad. Didn't need to be weirdly sad. The Portal games are coming to Switch, which is cool. And apparently the leaker also confirmed that like Half-Life 2 and maybe some other of the Valve stuff that was on the Nvidia Shield is coming to Switch. So this one was kind of exciting for people who've heard of it, but even if you've not heard of it, watching the trailer probably seems really exciting. Live Alive
Yes.
Yeah.
is an old like Squaresoft like RPG. Squaresoft, was it Squaresoft? Like from the SNES era that never got localized,
Yeah.
but it was always kind of like I think there was like maybe some fan translations. But it was this was kind of the one that got away. It was very exciting. Um, the soundtrack was always really good. Like I think a lot of people like listen to the music even though they never played the game just because it was one of those. And it's getting not just localized for the first time, it's getting one that HD 2D remaster, and it just looks really good. This looks really good.
Yes.
HD 2D, yeah. So this is exciting, and it comes out in July. Like that's
Why can't
incredibly
we get
cool.
like an HD 2D version of like Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger?
Because
Because
Square Enix doesn't want to put money into that.
yeah,
They
I
would
don't
be,
know.
that would be They would be rolling in money. It's just, I mean, they're already rolling in money.
They're already rolling money.
Rolling in more money.
They could put minimal effort into quote unquote updating the first 6 Final Fantasy games and sell them each for like $15 or $20 a piece. And people will buy them.
Yeah, the Pixel remasters also have cool new soundtracks. So hey, sometimes that's cool. Whatever, Chris Davis. We'd be excited if they were coming to Switch. They're just not coming to Switch yet.
I mean, I just want a compilation. Sell me a disc with all 6 of those games on it. I will buy it. $60.
You mean a
Sure.
cartridge?
Yeah. I guess the next big thing is Nintendo Switch Sports, which is probably a much bigger deal for Nintendo than it is for us here. I don't think we're.
I mean,
big
that
Wii
was a real
Sports
surprise
people.
for me. I mean, I
is this like Wii
imported
Sports or
Wii
something?
Sports Resort
Wii Sports,
back in the
yeah.
day.
But for the
Well, that's
Switch, it'll
pretty
sell
cool.
millions and millions of copies.
Yep.
Taiko no Tatsujin.
Honestly, I'm surprised it took them this long to do it.
They showed a new trailer for Triangle Strategy now, and they also announced that a demo shadow dropped, which means it's out now. You can download it. It's the first 3 chapters of the game, and it is the full version of the game, and your save will carry over. So if you're interested in Triangle Strategy, you can just play it now. I will talk more about Triangle Strategy next week. I'll say that. There are things I'm incredibly sad about, and there are, I'll talk about it next week.
Hold on, real quick, Brad. And this is something
Lemur
I was not aware of.
specifically waiting for you to talk about this in chat.
Yeah, that Farrakhan in chat brings up that Megalovania from Undertale is inspired by a Live Alive, track.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I knew that actually.
I didn't know it either.
I didn't know
knew
that. That's kind of cool.
Megalovania kind of goes way back actually. It has a history. Because that motherfucker's been doing stuff for a long time. Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course. The only reason I bring that up is because this Miss Chalice, this new character, does she seem like a Maria type character, Rondo Blood Maria type character? Like, is she like an easy mode, like a built-in easy mode kind of? She has like, I don't know.
I mean, it's
I never
fucking
finished
Cuphead.
Cuphead, but if they're introducing a new character that makes things a little bit easier, maybe I'll get through Cuphead. There's a Metroid Dread update that honestly just seems kind of lame. One thing they announced, which was kind of like a tease, is that Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings are coming to Switch. And when they first started revealing it, people thought, is this Mother 3? Are they going to do Mother 3? Is it going to be all of them? But no, still no Mother 3.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
But Earthbound Beginnings is Mother 1, so you get Mother 1 and 2. And
yeah,
if it sells well enough, who knows?
well, I mean that duo pack came out before it came out on the Wii U. It's just
Oh,
it's
it
not
did?
even new. It's just a port. Yeah. It's just, I mean, they're just ports. There's some more Mario Kart stuff, and then their last thing that they ended with is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is exciting for me. I like those games, and it's coming out in September, which is cool, right? Like, there's all these I think pretty exciting games, at least for me, and they're all coming out pretty soon, whether they be ports or remasters or remakes or new games.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff coming soon. Also, this is what Chris Davis suggested earlier about the Twitter, is that some dude on Twitter posted the entire lineup of what we saw on the Nintendo Direct on his Twitter account 3 days ago, like 3 days before the Direct. So he had info and he leaked all of it and it was all accurate. And he's been on Twitter since people finally noticed his account saying, okay, yeah, also I know some other stuff. And one of those things is that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD are coming to Switch this year. Also, that GoldenEye's coming to Switch this year,
Like
and
the
that
original GoldenEye, or like that Wii remake thing?
no, not that thing. The original GoldenEye, the actual proper GoldenEye. And but that's been rumored for a long time. Um, and a new Fire Emblem game is coming in the back half of the year, and actually is going to launch this year.
Like a
Um,
sequel to Three Houses?
I don't think it's going to be a sequel to Three Houses necessarily. I think it might be like a Fire Emblem Echoes thing, where it's going to be a remake of one of the older ones, like
Hmm.
Shadows of Valencia. That's my guess, which is still really exciting. But we'll see. I like Fire Emblem, and there's some other stuff he leaked, um, but nothing too crazy. But I don't. For me,
You
that was like a cool, exciting
you
Nintendo
skipped over
Direct.
the
Although I'm a
Mario
little
Kart
bummed
stuff,
out
which was
about Front
pretty
Mission,
big.
weirdly. But yeah.
You skipped over the Mario Kart stuff, which was pretty
What
big.
what was big about it?
They're releasing content for it through 2024 that adds 48 new courses.
I mean, I think the only reason I think Brad skipped over it mostly because none of us here are what you would call Mario Kart fans necessarily. You're not
Sure.
wrong. For
I
Mario
mean,
Kart
everyone
fans, that's
loves the
probably a really
Mario
big
Kart,
deal.
but there are, a lot of them are like old courses.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of them they show off our older courses from the previous games, but like the two things from there is number one, 2024 tells you that they're satisfied with not making Mario Kart 9 anytime soon, and number two, that Nintendo is satisfied with not releasing a Switch 2 until at least 2024.
That's not what that means.
What?
That's not what that
No,
means
that's
at
what it
all.
sounds like to
that's
me.
not what that means.
The
I
the
think that's a
whole
very big
reason
stretch.
they're doing this is for what they ended that trailer or whatever talk with, is that this is going to be the next thing that you get if you have the premium Switch subscription. Where last year they gave you all the Animal Crossing update stuff. Now it's going to be this Mario Kart stuff. This is just them trying to get more money out of subs. Which, whatever, do what you got to do. It still kind of sucks.
It is a reason. Oh, the subscription is worth it now because we get all of these tracks.
Yeah.
Or it's them putting in minimal effort to like remaster or create a track or whatever. Then actually rebuild a new game. There's like, hey, here's a new track in this game. Now give us however much hundreds a year.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
only reason I didn't mention it is because no one here ever talks about Mario Kart.
None of us here are going double dash on a tailpipe. We we'll play Mario Kart, but we don't care that much.
Yeah.
I
we
don't know
don't
what
talk
that
about it
means, but-
because the Mario Kart that is out is a port of the
Nobody
previous
talk-
generation's
I
game.
just played.
from, like,
I
7
just
years
played
ago.
Mario Kart like 2 days ago.
Which everybody did, and that's all that.
I
That's
haven't
the
played,
end of
I
that
haven't played
conversation.
I haven't played Mario Kart since the DS, and that was a
Yeah.
great game.
Oh,
Okay, we need to move on.
curse that blue shell.
I was racing against my girlfriend and I totally smoked her.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some community questions here, guys. Once again, I want to remind everybody that if you're listening to the show, we've opened it up to everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're a Patreon or Twitch supporter. If you just listen and you want to ask a question, please do. You can email us at questions@4playernetwork.com, or you can go into our Discord at discord.gg/4player, and there is a submit a question thread or channel in the podcast section of Discord, and I'm creating dedicated threads for every episode. So this has been working out pretty well. Got a nice selection of questions this week. I'll put a thread up for next week's show in the next day or two. But for now, let's answer some questions from our community. Are y'all ready? Are you paying
Yes.
attention? Or are you listening?
Yes.
Sir, yes,
That's
sir.
going to you, Brad. You always ask me
Yeah,
to
I'm
repeat these
listening.
questions. Our first question comes from
He's not even
what-
looking at you. You
Yeah.
just
It's
trusted
in
him.
his phone.
Why do I hear you in my ears? Barely.
Is that how that works? All right. Our first question this week comes from who I assume is Tack. It's Final Fantasy Tactics is his name in Discord. He says, "Do you have?" Oh my god.
Well, that was one of the other things that leaker said, is that the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is real and it is coming this year. So
Perfect.
yeah. So
Oh.
this person is probably happy.
Tack says, "Do you have any personal traditions or habits in video games? It occurred to me the other day that I have been naming dog companions Ace since the year 2003." Um, to which Zerby added, "I just wondered. I thought this was kind of both. This is dark and but also kind of funny." He says, "Every cat I name in games is Boris, and every dog is Rosie, and both of those animals have been dead for years."
Well,
But he just
okay. I mean,
realized he's
that
been naming
happens.
them that forever.
Yeah.
I still name
That's the
my
question, like,
Palico and my Palamantian hide, and guess what? They're
oh,
gone. So
there you
yeah.
go.
Y'all want to know? Y'all want to know
It doesn't
a
have to be
secret?
specific to animals. That was just an example.
Y'all want to hear a secret Easter egg? When I played Final Fantasy 14 last year, I started in March, I think, right? I started in March. I played Final Fantasy 14. When I got my Chocobo, I named him Griffin
Uh-huh.
because that was going to be the name for my future son, but nobody knew that because no one
Nobody
knew I was
knew
going to
it.
have a son. But I named him Griffin because that's a cool name for a Chocobo.
Nice. Nice little factoid.
I mean, I will kind of echo on the whole like dog thing. Yes, I definitely name like dogs often Butters or Kato. I will often also, if it's like a mount related like companion of some kind, like a horse or something, I often name them Appa.
Papa, where did that come from?
That's Avatar.
Chris Davis knows.
I did. I learned
Oh.
something new every day.
Yep.
I
But I
like
don't
the
really have
name
too
of
many
the-
other ones.
Yeah,
The Sky
honestly,
Bison.
I think the animal thing is pretty common. Like I've been naming animals, Taco and Maggie and Evie for the past few years. I think that's just a pretty natural thing to gravitate towards. I'm really boring when it comes to actual names. Like whenever I name like a main character in a game, like a protagonist, it's like choose your name. I always go with whatever the default is or whatever like this. Like I never name a character in Zelda anything other than Link.
Nick's
Ever.
gaming tradition is going out of
boring.
his way to
Well, what do you
pay full price for a game.
what do
Yeah,
you
there we go.
do when you have to make your own lady character? Because you play ladies in most games, and
Are you asking me?
oftentimes you have to make you Nick.
Well, I have a default name that I've been using for years now for
Yeah, what is it?
lady character. Summer. That
Summer.
was my Final Fantasy.
I always use
14
Aegis,
characters.
who
Yeah, I've been
Chris
using.
Davis thinks. I mean, Crispy thinks is ugly.
That's the character. Wait, what? Are you sneering at that name?
No,
You
it's
bitch.
fine. It's great. It's a beautiful name.
Uh-huh.
I hope to name my daughter that someday.
How,
My
just like, I think it's a
tradition,
pretty name.
my tradition in video games
Actually,
is.
it's a Buffy Easter egg. To be totally honest.
Oh God, I knew it. I knew it. I could smell it.
Yeah.
My tradition in video games is if there's a character creator, I will spend at least an hour in that character creator fussing over details that don't matter. Especially even if it's a first-person game. And
You
I
never see the
it.
fruits of your labor. Yeah.
I never see it. Never see it.
It's kind of amazing. Like in Dying Light 2, there's such an emphasis on like the clothes you can wear, but you never see it unless you're in the menu. Or like you can see your gloves on your hands, or maybe sometimes you can see your feet when
Yeah.
you're like jumping and you're looking down.
To be fair,
That's
all
about it.
the clothing I've encountered in that game so far has been pretty
Pretty lame.
ugly. It's like
Right.
if there was a hot topic corporate convention that struck during the pandemic and those people all had to form a
Hey,
community.
you never know. You never know. All right, our next
The-
question tonight comes from. Oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say the Dying Light legendary equipment I got handed by that guy. It's all fucking gaudy pieces of shit. So yeah, it doesn't get better.
Not surprising. Not surprising. All right. Our next question tonight comes from Zerby. He says, if there was one common feature to a genre or game type that you could change to have you enjoy it more or make you interested in a genre you normally wouldn't be, what would it be? Chris, does that laugh indicate that you have an immediate answer? Or?
This sounds like a question rife for abuse.
I mean,
If I could take
just
every
like-
RTS and make it not real time,
Make it
Maybe
turn based.
play more RTSs.
If you just
then you would be
fundamentally
putting an
changed
RTS.
everything about this game, then I would play it.
If I could turn every game in the world into a Metroidvania, I would.
No,
Honestly,
No.
I think it's
I'm
more about
abusing. I'm
removing.
abusing the question. That's not. Of course, that's not accurate. I'm just kidding. Everybody, calm down.
I mean, you're not
If I
gonna
could
like
take any sports game and remove all the sports ball stuff, I'd like them more.
And what would it be?
Oh, is everyone have an actual answer?
I have an
like
answer,
It's
all right, let's hear it.
and I've said it before,
And
but
Zerby says one thing. He emphasizes one thing.
the ability to do pacifist play.
Wait, what? Contextualize that. What are you saying?
As in, I do not have to kill or harm another.
But what is? But
person or
what are you
creature in the game.
changing? Like, there's tons of games that you.
Yeah,
can
but
choose to
every game, Chris Davis,
I mean,
he's saying like
every
a genre.
game, you really want to, like,
He
are
really
you playing?
doesn't want to kill Hitler.
Oh yeah, are you playing Wolfenstein and going like, oh, but no, I don't want to kill the
well,
Nazis.
okay, fuck you. But
Man, this is going
what if
some
we could
dark
just
places.
talk to the demons?
What if you just talk to Hitler?
I think
Just
what
hear
Chris
out the
Davis is saying is
Nazis.
every game should have the option for a pacifist run, which is.
Is that what he's saying?
No, I'm just saying a
know what
lot of
he's
games
saying.
should have that ability.
I don't know.
I really wish there was a pacifist run in Chicory.
Wait, Chicory has no combat.
You've been
What?
playing.
You
it
didn't tell
wrong,
me
Brad.
that? I'm sorry. Seriously, Brad, do you have an answer? Is there something like an actual
I
answer?
told
other
you,
than take-
remove the real time element from real time strategy games.
Okay.
I'll give you another real answer if you want it. A fully immersive, remove the HUD.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I feel like that as a feature should be available in almost. I forgot which game did it the best, but there was one game that I played that just had an amazing. And actually, now I'm thinking maybe it was Horizon, where it was like like the entire HUD would basically disappear after like 5 or 6 seconds of not really utilizing anything on
Like
screen.
games
And
have been
then
getting better with that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
a lot
I
of
mean,
games
like,
much
do
game
that.
I think that should absolutely be that would improve every game I feel like ever made.
Red Dead
if that was
2
just-
does that, Nick. I think Horizon might. There's actually an
I
option.
wish Dying Light
on
2 did
there
it.
with HUD.
There's so many games that give you the option to like turn it off, but like you have to physically turn it off and then it's just gone. I'd love for everything by default to be invisible and then have it fade in as needed. But I don't know if that's necessarily in the spirit of the question. You know what? I feel like especially in things that are like horror games or survival horror games, just I think just by kind of like default they should remove anything that kind of points you in the right like I'm thinking of like what
Guiding and stuff like that.
I thought of one. I wish
Okay.
that like I wish money didn't exist. Like more like I wish that like live service games didn't have fucking real money store transactions, you know? Like, and I know you can say like, "Oh, but Fortnite's free. How do developers get paid if they don't make money off the game?" It's like that wasn't the question, and I don't care. Like, I just wish it existed in such a way. Like games I like to play a lot of stuff that has real money transactions, and it fucking sucks. And a lot of times it really brings the game down. It's like the worst part about Magic the Gathering Arena because of
So
like
here's my
how much
question.
money you're incentivized to actually invest.
Here's my question: are you saying you would rather just pay a flat out $60 and never think about it ever again, or are you saying you
Right,
wish
and then
money
just
wasn't involved in the
give me a way
transaction at
to
all?
earn. Yeah, give me. Well, I mean, ideally the second, right? Like I
Yeah,
wish money wasn't real, but well, money's not real. But I wish money wasn't a thing. But yeah, more like I would pay you like I'd pay you more up front. I'd say like $80 to play this Magic the Gathering game, and like I can earn every card that exists in the game like by
Yeah.
playing. You know, that would be I
the
would
old
consider
days.
doing that. Yeah.
What's up, Nolan?
I got one.
Okay.
Games in which generally they're usually story based, in which you have to follow someone, but they don't like when they walk faster than you walk, and when you run, they walk slower than you run. That whole bullshit of you having to go and stop and go and stop and go as they're trying to lead you somewhere. That kind of bullshit in games. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, there
Yeah,
was a
no,
game recently that had like equal or movement speed.
Well, so I think
What
one of
was
the games
that?
that did it best, in my opinion, was actually the Forgotten City, because it's like someone's like, "Hey, follow me," and you just press E and hands off the controller, you'll just go with them. Or if you want, you can use the other stick to
Holy
look
shit,
around
Nolan.
as your character just gets pulled along with them, and it makes
I
so
had
much
no
sense.
idea. I had no idea you could do that.
Mm-hmm. It's so
Goddamn.
fucking nice to be able to just let your character go. Because when someone in a game like that says, "Hey, follow me," what are you going to do? You're probably going to follow them. So let the character just go off and follow them, and you can kind of explore and look around as if it was real life.
On a semi-related note,
Mhm.
in Far Cry 6, if you like pivot to like if you're driving a car and you look out the window, the car automatically starts driving for you on the road, like staying in the lane. Or if you've like pinned a location on a map somewhere, it'll automatically just start driving to that location. So
That's cool.
you could start looking around the island and just taking in the scenery, and the car will
Mhm.
drive you where you're going. I
That's
can't
nice.
guarantee you're not going to run over someone riding a horse or something. You know what I mean? But it's nice. It was a nice feature. I'm not sure if we might be getting far away from the question, but I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
that's somewhere kind of in the zone. All right, next question from Haste. If you had to insert product placement into your favorite game of all time, what would it be, and how would it be delivered? Preferably from a brand that you actually like.
My
Or love.
favorite game of all time is like medieval fantasy. So
Yeah. What would it be?
that sucks.
Just a fucking I don't know.
There's a time
Come on.
machine in Final Fantasy Tactics because Cloud it comes through that time machine.
I mean, it doesn't matter what the product placement is in a game like that. No matter what it is, it would be absolutely ridiculous. It wouldn't make it wouldn't make any sense at all.
Why not like a nice handcrafted leather bag, Nick? That would work so
mean-
well in a medieval fantasy.
What about what was it
Something
Coleman's?
you keep your
Coleman's
Zodiac stone in.
There you go.
What about was it the Coleman's camping equipment? Is that what it was?
Oh,
for Final Fantasy
God.
14? Do they do any camping in Final Fantasy Tactics, Brad? Do they do camping equipment?
That's called their life, Nick.
So
I
I'm
guess it's
thinking
all
That's not
canon, right?
camping.
I guess I mean
Yeah.
there's a multiverse. I guess what is
Yeah.
a time machine? A multiverse?
Yeah.
I mean, if
Uh,
Cloud comes from another universe through a time portal,
Space time are related, bud.
what I'm saying is, I think Coleman tints exist in the world of Final Fantasy Tactics, technically. So
all
In
right.
a
fair enough.
roundabout
noodle.
way.
Red Dead Redemption is
Dude.
currently Red Dead Redemption
Oh my
2 is
God.
currently my game of all time. Just when was this is a dumb question, I think. When was like Coca-Cola? What year was that a thing? Did Coca-Cola
Probably. I
exist
would say
at
that
that
was
time?
like
Dude,
1800s.
dude,
I feel like that's
Yeah,
a question for
1890
Chris
something?
Davis.
Wow.
could you get a Coca-Cola at like a saloon in the early
1886. Nick.
1910.
So yeah, in like the early
1886.
1900s,
So it
in the early
definitely
1900s,
existed.
you could totally get a Coke at a saloon, and it would make sense. It would
Plus, it
work.
would have actual Coke in it.
Yeah, exactly.
It would. It'd have a bunch of stuff. Dude,
Boom,
but-
that's my answer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna jump off of your answer because, and I'm not really gonna answer the question. I don't think, but it's similar, and it's kind of like fucking with my head, or it has been for a few days now. I was on Wikipedia, the Star Wars wiki, and I was reading. I just like kind of fell into a hole. So basically, okay, so the theme park, right? They have Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Well, they sell Coca-Cola at Galaxy's Edge, right? They
Mhm.
serve it
Right.
in plastic bottles and in paper cups. Well, because everything that happens in Galaxy's Edge is like canon, that means that Coca-Cola exists in the Star Wars universe. There's like a character who like his whole thing is he imports Coca-Cola from somewhere and sells it to people, and they like in the Wikipedia article they're even talking about like, oh, and it's sold in bottles made of plastic. And then you go to an article for plastic and they're like, yeah, it's this weird kind of shitty material. It's kind of like Duraplast, but it's shittier, and it's really only used for like soda bottles. Like there's this whole thing of like they tried to like sci-fi up everyday materials to make it seem like more spacey and sci-fi, but so they like invented these new materials to be analogs for real world materials, and then they just ended up introducing the real world material back into the universe. So now something like plastic and paper are like these weird kind of single use cases that like nobody really uses paper for anything, but it's there, and they like kind of know what it is, but they're like, why would I use paper when I could just use whatever they fucking like flims or whatever?
Star Wars,
Yeah,
whatever the
whatever
stupid
the Star
Star Wars
Wars
equivalent
equivalent
is.
You
paper
could
is.
just use jizz.
Yeah, the
in
music.
in a cup.
Yeah.
But if you were in Galaxy's Edge, does that mean you
Yeah,
exist?
I'm
technically?
canon. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess.
Wow.
Do I have to come up with a Star Wars name?
I officially hate Star Wars. This has gone too far. This has gone too far. Does anybody else have an answer they would like to share? No? No? All right. The Drunken Merchant asks, which style do you prefer? Swords on a character's back, for example, Dante, or swords at the character's side, example, Virgil?
Back.
Just-
Back.
It depends on the kind of sword.
That's a bullshit answer.
Pulling
No,
a
yeah,
katana out of
I
your
think-
back
No.
seems wrong.
I think it always looks cooler on the back. The sword, katana, okay, maybe, but like, I remember distinctly like being younger and just like having a whole fucking thing about like, oh, that must be so uncomfortable to wear on your side, and like you can't sit down, and it's just like in the way, it's just hanging off of you, and it just didn't make any sense to me. Even though pulling a sword off your back doesn't make any sense, but like it just looks cooler. You know what I mean? It just looks right.
Also, impossible to do. I don't know.
Well, so that's the reason, Brad. You don't unsheath it like that. You have some sort of device, like a clasp or something, that keeps it on your back. So there's a very short sheath on the bottom that you stick it in, and a clasp or something at the top. So you just release that clasp, and then
Or you just put a magnet on your back and you just clunk.
or just a magnet. Yeah.
I would have said on the back, but like I feel like Ghost of Tsushima kind of like everything in that game looked amazing, and that game may have swayed me in the other direction. Everyone looked fucking badass having the swords at their side.
But that was all realistic katana stuff.
I know, but like that in and of itself makes it cool, I think. I don't know. I mean, in his own example for Devil May Cry, the two primary characters, the protagonist and the antagonist, they have opposing views on this exact subject. Virgil carries it at his side, Dante carries it on his back.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because one's like a katana and one's like a claymore or something.
It truly is a land of contrasts.
Fair enough. All right. Next question comes from William Outbreak, and I don't know if we'll be able to actually answer this question. I maybe should have sent this one out earlier because this might require some thinking. He says, and maybe we should each pick one. He says, create a Pokemon party of 6 characters from any video game, movie, or television show of your choosing. Obviously, we can't each pick our own party because that would
I could do this real easily.
Oh, go for it.
I'm gonna go with
This will be a
Basil
canon
Goose.
answer.
I'm gonna go with Nergigante. Probably
All
Rathalos. Got to have Rathalos in
These
there.
can't be real words.
I want
These are Monster
Gosharog.
Hunter characters.
He's naming
monsters.
Monster Hunter
I want
characters.
Gosharog. I want Coral Puke and
I'm on board with that one.
Brachydios or Raging Brachydios for sure.
Whatever. Coral.
That's my sense.
Sure.
Yeah, I like Brad's.
By the way,
approach to
they
this
made
answer.
that game, and you can have.
Part of me
party
wonders if I'm
6 monsters.
not feeling the magic and the pull of Pokemon right now because my eyes have been opened to the magic of Monster Hunter.
Then play stories too.
I did play stories
that's the
too for like
problem.
5
Oh,
or 6
yeah, you
hours, but
did,
I
you
dropped that. I
bitch.
dropped that too. I know.
You dropped every JRPG you started last year, right?
Fuck you. I know where this is
That's
going.
true.
I know where this is going.
Prove
You
him
have a
wrong.
JRPG installed on your PS4 or PS5 right now that you could play.
I'm not sure what you're alluding to, unless you're once again trying to call. Are you trying to call 13 Sentinels a JRPG?
I mean,
It's not a
it is-
JRPG.
That is not an RPG.
It's not a
Not even a
JRPG, but
Visual
it's,
novel.
I'm
It is
just
the
trying to get you
Japanese
to play
game.
the fucking game, Nick.
Chris Davis, you really need to. How many times am I going to have to tell you how this works?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
All right. I'm sorry. We might be. I'm going to go with Brad's answer as canon on this because all those monsters are dope. And we obviously can't each pick 6 characters because that would take.
I'm just gonna get every
forever.
evolution.
Every
Eevee.
evolution.
Those are
That's pretty good.
Pokemon. That's literally the
Yeah,
only thing you
Yeah,
can't
you
say.
can't.
I
You
thought
can't
his-
choose
Not
Pokemon when the
I'm
question's about
sorry. I thought it was
Pokemon.
just a-
I thought this question was more of like pick for me it would be like Dexter and Buffy or whatever the fuck. I thought that's what it was going for.
That's what I thought too,
Okay.
Nick.
Those, by the way, those two
Yeah,
would
what's
absolutely
doing?
be on my. would be
What are
in
we
my
doing
party.
with this Pokemon party? Are we
You just
battling?
want to put Dexter in your pocket like a Pokemon.
Are we battling other people?
I think we'd be battling each other. I mean, I would essentially be throwing out my team so that they could battle Brad's team of monsters from Monster Hunter, which I feel like would be unfair. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Um. Anyways, next question. This is our last question tonight. Comes from
Hold on,
Hofflos.
could I answer it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Y'all gotta jump in there before I move on. If there's
No,
more than like 4 or 5 seconds of silence, I move
Oh.
on to the next question.
So I would choose Mohammed, Buddha, Moses, Joseph Smith, and Aquaman.
Oh, false
Moses.
prophets. Gotcha.
What is Moses gonna do?
Yeah, doesn't Moses and Aquaman kind of cancel each other out?
They can help each other.
Oh my
And
god,
then
that's a good
no,
point.
that was only 5. My 6th one would be God.
I just picked 6 copies of the devil.
There we go.
Just-
Goku and Superman on the same side.
Whoa, Goku, Superman, Saitama, Naruto.
Now I'm gonna be fucked though when I have my
Whoever the
Tom
kid from My Hero Academia.
Deku. At that point, why don't you just choose All Might?
6 Toads from Mario.
Hey, that's what they'd sound like.
That's actually a really good impression, Crispy. All right, our last question tonight comes from Koflos in Discord. That might be someone I don't know who that is, but
That's Gamerbeck.
is that Beck? Okay, I was like, it sounds like I think
Yeah.
that might be Beck. He says, "All right, you are dead. As a gamer, you are of course sent directly to gamer hell. There's only one game to play there, and you have to play it forever. Which game would be your particular hell, or what do you think your fellow podcasters' gamer hell would be?"
Oh, I know Chris Davis's. He goes to hell and he has to play Yakuza 0.
No,
He's like,
no,
"No,
I'm looking forward to
no."
that. I'm eventually gonna play that, but no,
Chris Davis is he has to play Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, but no pacifist run. He has to kill everybody every time.
I'm okay with that if I have to. But no, that is not my personal hell. My personal hell is a game called X-Blades, and I know
X-Blades.
X-Blades was a
chick with the
360
butt.
era arena brought hack and slash, kind of like a Devil May Cry wannabe, but it had a budget of about $13.
Okay.
And it
I don't think that's an
haunts
accurate budget.
it haunts my achievement list forever because you basically get one for finishing the first battle, and it's just garbage.
But
They eventually did a
Chris-
remake of that game that was marginally better.
It wasn't a remake, but look, you bought X-Blades.
No,
That's
I
the
rented
thing.
it from Gameply.
Okay. Because the
Brad,
butt.
what would be your personal hell? Do you have one? I feel
Personal
like you gotta
hell.
have one. Yeah. Do you have to play like the snowball fight from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2
Hey,
for the rest
I
of
might
eternity?
give it shit, but that's still a clever tutorial level. I don't know. Come back to me.
I mean, I feel like my brain immediately jumps to. I mean, I don't hate a lot of games. I don't actively hate a lot of stuff, but my brain immediately jumps to something like Onimusha 4.
No, it would be some multiplayer game. You're like, no, all these people are having fun.
That's a fuck off.
See, the problem with that, Brad, is I do think eventually, if Nick was forced to do that, he would eventually start having fun with it. So I don't think that's
I
a
do have
valid
fun when I
one.
do it. I just don't like. For me, it's the barrier is like the effort I have to go through to play it is just so
Yeah.
awful. Like I don't want to have to get all the social ramifications that come with like having to like make play dates with people
If
and
it
like
was
figure
only
all the
45
logistics
minutes
out. It's the
long, Nick
worst.
would totally pick a multiplayer game.
True.
Wait, say that again.
If Hell was only 45 minutes long, Nick would totally be in for that multiplayer game.
It'd be the worst
You're right.
45 minutes of his life.
Yeah.
Or afterlife.
Oh man. Anybody else have
personal hell.
a gamer hell you wish to share?
Honestly, for me, it would probably be like a fighting game. Because it's one of those things where I feel like if I was forced to do that in hell, I'd be good, but I would never be that good. And so I'd always be like, not
You
even
just can't have
second
that,
place.
huh?
I'd be like 8th place, and I would just feel shitty over and over and over again.
Hmm. Crispy, do you have a gamer hell you would like to share? Technology says hell is mediocrity.
For me,
Oh, he's Final Fantasy 14, but only 1.0 is what he says. Hell is mediocrity.
um,
Is
it
that
would
like
be
not
the
even Realm Reborn material?
it
That's
would,
like
it would be that
1.0.
it would be that tech demo that they have for Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is nothing. It's not a game. It's just that tech demo, and all I get to play is that tech demo, which is not a video game.
Lemur
Which
Dragon says he thinks mine would be Tales of the Borderlands. Tales from the Borderlands.
No, it
no,
wouldn't.
But I
Dude,
actively
I wish
enjoyed
that
that.
was my hell.
I actively
That
enjoyed
would
that.
be an
Oh,
amazing
Brad, I
hell.
feel like what if Brad was doomed to sit in a room, a large like auditorium sized room, and watch Hideki Kamiya play the demo for Scalebound across the room, but he could never leave. Like, and it was just that demo on repeat. Like
Not even the
Oh,
demo, like the
God.
fully complete 100% game.
from the
Yeah, it would
opposite
have
end
to
of
be
the
the
he'd be
complete
like where he has
complete
to like
Scalebound.
squint. He has to like squint. He has no binoculars. He has to squint to see across the auditorium to see the demo. But he can watch somebody play that game in its entirety in all of its glory. Um,
It's
yeah.
probably just Lords of Shadows too. Let's be honest.
Oh, how about this? How about this? Hell is E3 and you're like in a line to play a demo for like your most anticipated game ever, but the line just never ends. It like moves, but when you get to the front, it just like circles back around and feeds you to
Oh,
the
so you mean
No,
E3?
no. I've got it even
yeah,
worse.
exactly.
You no, because hell is supposed to be like the destruction of your soul, right? So in that
Supposed to crush you,
scenario,
yes.
what it would be is you would get to the front of the line and you'd be next, and the hall closes and they shut it down.
I mean, it's
But you
more.
have
I
to
mean,
come back
yeah,
the next day and try
do the whole
again.
thing over again.
Do it over again.
Yeah, there we
Sisyphusian.
go. VR porn, just just for the rest of time, just standing in a room. No, it's VR porn.
No,
Which
it's standing in a room of other people doing VR porn, but you're not.
It's you're that could be. I mean, I was gonna say it's equally awkward to be sitting there with the headset on watching VR porn, but knowing that you're surrounded by other
By your
people
parents.
who aren't wearing the headsets, who are basically just analyzing you and your reactions to. Because standing in line for the VR porn at E3, you're just constantly watching the people who are you wearing the headsets and seeing like what is their reaction, like what's
No.
happening, because
No,
there's
it's-
gonna be gold. There's gonna be gold.
No, it's you playing the VR porn, but the entire time you are aware that your parents are watching you play it.
You
I
don't
just
play
said that?
VR porn, Chris Davis. You just
The experience.
Experience it.
It's an
You just
interactive
experience it.
experience.
You let it wash over you.
You probably have like
man.
demons jerking off in your face too, because it is hell.
Hell. It is hell. All right. Guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for all your questions. Again, if you want to submit a question for a future show, the easiest way to do it, you can email us at questions@4playernetwork.com. You can also go to the Submit a Question channel in Discord. I'll have a thread set up for episode 711 this weekend probably. So get in there and submit them anytime you want. Anything pops into your brain, pop in there, and we'll get to it on a future show. So now we're going to wrap up with the 4-player minute. We all know how this works. It's supposed to be a minute. It rarely stays at a minute. But I'm going to let Brad start us off. Our hype, sweat, thank you, and fuck you of the week. Take it away, Brad.
My hype is for that Final Fantasy Tactics remaster. I guess it's more my sweat, right? I'm so worried that they might like fuck it up, right? Because Square Enix, I don't trust them, and I don't trust. I guess it all ties to my fuck you. The reason I'm worried about the Final Fantasy, my sweat is Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, is because of Triangle Strategy. I think my biggest problem with the demo for Triangle Strategy when I first played it was like the terrible voice acting, and it's still terrible. They didn't make it not terrible, and it's just not good. People say, "We'll just play it in Japanese," but the Japanese is not good either. It doesn't flow right. It all feels like hammy and bad. It's just not good voice acting, and there's a lot of dialogue, and it's bad. And I could just turn it off, but the actual text boxes are bad. The font's bad. There's no like character portraits, so it's honestly kind of a chore to it's a clunky read as well. So like no matter what, it's just God. they took a game and that had so much potential, and I think they kind of ruined the presentation. And there's a lot of story in this game, so that's sort of my fuck you for this week. How are you gonna? There's no reason to have voice acting this bad from Square Enix in 2022. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. my my thank you for this week. Oh, was this my thank you last week to Wario64 for tweeting about those Final Fantasy Tactics figurines?
Yeah, it was. That was your thank you last week. You can't do that again.
Fuck. Fine. My thank you is is Advance Wars. It's coming soon. I'm excited.
Thank a video game, Brad. Again. I'm just kidding.
No.
My chosen
thank you
me.
is
I'm just
Miyamoto.
kidding.
You can thank your wife for forgiving you for purchasing that $85 figure.
Or does she
Well,
even know?
we haven't had that conversation yet.
Oh, is Brad
There
gonna
it
get
is.
that $85 figure? Is he gonna get that somehow?
Oh, I forgot.
It's a $71 figure, and there's 2 of them.
Sorry, is Brad going to get that $71 figure somehow?
Well, Nolan will get it.
Exactly. You're welcome.
I think he's trying to get you to thank Nolan,
Yeah.
Brad.
At the end of the year, I got to drive over to Nolan's and pick them up. And when I do that, I'll bring your copy of Demon Souls, Chris Davis.
And then you can
Thank
have
God.
this. You can have this back for me, Brad, when you come and get it.
Damn it! Just don't forget to give it to me, because I'll forget. I want that. And I
It's
guess
right here on my desk.
my final. I don't know what I have left. Another hype is that new Fire Emblem game that's coming out in the back half of the year, and just Xenoblade. My hype is the Switch. The Switch, I think, is gonna have a good year. I think it didn't have a great year last year, but I think it's gonna have a good year. This feels like another 2017. Honestly, we just need Breath of the Wild 2 to actually ship this year. But I have faith, so we'll see. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Chris Davis. You go next.
I have prepared a statement.
No.
For my 4-player
I thought we
minute.
were gonna make it to this podcast. I didn't think.
You thought I'd
4-player
forget?
minutes are not
You thought it wasn't going to happen
conversational.
because
It's
it didn't
always
fill out
gonna
the
be
doc?
a statement.
Somewhere along the line, Chris Davis lost his own bit. He lost track. He lost sight of the bit.
Yeah.
But this is a.
And there goes Nolan.
Nolan's leaving. All right.
Nolan's going to appreciate this
This
because
is
it's related
a
to him.
4-player minute. Don't forget this. This
Yeah.
is a 4-player minute.
My 4-player minute this week is brought to you by Chai Tai, our lovely friend whom you know for such kindnesses as Christmas Dinosaur Erotica for Nick and keeping a Street Fighter II cabinet at his dad's house and never letting us play it. Over the holiday, Chai gifted me a game, one that I was initially reluctant to play. But with my bank account nearly in the red in January and nothing else new to play, I started it, played through it, and finished it. And now I'm mad.
How many times did you finish?
This game has earned
Is
my
anything
hype,
like
my sweat, my thank you, and my fuck you this week. And that game is entitled Honey Pop 2 Double Date.
There we go.
It would have disappeared into obscurity, never to be mentioned or acknowledged by me ever again, if it weren't for one specific reason. It is this very
booze.
reason for which it has earned my entire 4-player minute. The final boss fight music. Now, don't get me wrong. This game is well made with good mechanics and fun writing, but at the end of the day, it's all about driving trope anime girls to orgasm using match 3 gameplay. It ain't high class. But then the final boss fight hits you, and holy shit, it's goddamn absurd. When Nolan said the Nymphogen was his second favorite boss fight of 2021, I now understand. It's a difficult fight, but it's the music that fucking sells it. I don't know who composed this game, but the looping boss fight track and victory music is just goddamn stellar. It puts to shame pretty much most of the epic music I've heard in the past 5 years. It's so good that I've been poisoning our YouTube channel's recommendations by playing it on loop. It's goddamn glorious. And I'm angry. How dare this game, this complete piece of smut, have this good of music? This shouldn't be happening. How is it this festival of pornographic bejeweled gameplay got the budget and time to put together a track that rivals fucking From Software in quality? I am upset. I am hyped to listen to this music 30 more times. I am sweating over having to reveal this truth to the world. I am thankful that Chai Tai gifted me some great music that came with a free smut game, and I issue a fuck you to the Honey Pop devs for hiding these glorious beats behind a fucking porn game. God damn it.
All right, that was impassioned. I'm gonna out Shy here for a second. In our community top 10 lists of the year, he put Honey Pop 2 in his list, and let me tell you, he ranked it pretty high. Pretty darn high. Maybe I should play this game. I do have it. He did gift it to me.
You should.
Well, why don't you link the track in chat so
No,
people
no,
can fucking
no.
listen to it?
I will not do that because you have to earn this. This is something you have to fucking earn.
He's talking
You can't just
about-
play
I'm gonna do it right now.
You have to experience this.
Hey,
It is a
okay.
moment.
It's okay. Guys, there's no shame in enjoying smut. It's okay. You can just say the game is pretty good.
It's not the fact that it's smut. It's the fact that this music comes out of fucking nowhere in the final boss fight, and it just makes it absurdly good.
It should be celebrated. All right, I'm gonna play this game. I don't know. Fuck. I have a 3-day weekend ahead, and I was supposed to play as many hours of Dying Light 2 as I could possibly squeeze in. If I end up playing Honey Pop 2, I'm gonna be mad.
Nick,
What?
stay hydrated.
Okay. Will
Stay
do.
hydrated.
All right, Nolan, you go next.
All right, my 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for Chrono Cross, the remaster. I'm very excited. Chrono Cross has always been a game that's kind of been near and dear to my heart, mainly because it was one of the first big RPGs I played. I didn't really get into RPGs until the PS1 era. I got into it late, and I had no money, so I had to choose a few games, and I think a friend recommended it, and so it's kind of always been something that's kind of been close to me. I've tried to replay it a couple of times on different mobile platforms. Never really worked out too well. But I know it will be great on the Switch. I'm pretty excited for that. My sweat is going to be to Dying Light 2. I have not even picked it up yet. The first game was amazing. I loved it so much, especially playing with other people, but that's probably why this one won't be as good, because I don't think I'm going to play it with anybody. Not because I don't like people, but just because time.
Oh, Nolan, I was hoping we were going to do a co-op night.
I mean, what do you have it on, PS5?
Yeah. And Joseph has it on
we'll
PS5 too. He says.
We'll see then. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. My thank you is going to go to the community for helping me out with Pokemon and giving me tips. They've been very helpful. Streaming is an endeavor, like I said, with my webcam and stuff like that. So I've been doing a couple of streams just in Discord, and people have been hopping in and just kind of giving me tips and pointers. And Shikuski traded me some Pokemon and stuff like that. So thank you for all of them. And my fuck you is going to go to the mechanics of Pokemon, especially the pastures and the Pokedex and all of that shit. It is very frustrating, easily fixable. I can't believe they didn't hire like a single person that understands how databases work to be able to understand how to sort things and filter and whatever. So,
all right.
Fuck you, Game Freak.
Thank you, Nolan. All right, Crispy, you're up.
Oh boy. I'm going to start with my fuck you this week. My fuck you this week goes to Chris Davis because I just listened to that music and it was not worth whatever the fuck that was.
I disagree
Because
it's part of the experience.
The
music is made.
It sounds like you just like the game, man. It sounds like you just had fun playing the game.
Which, you know what, is okay.
Which is
To
fine.
be fair, Crispy dislikes both Nier soundtracks. So.
That is not true.
Well,
First of all, I've never even
now.
listened to the first. No.
Okay,
no.
just Automata. Sorry.
I don't even say that. I say it's fine, and you guys are all like, "That's the best soundtrack I've ever heard in my life," and I'm the
That's
asshole
not what
because
I
I
said.
don't agree. No.
That'd be the first.
No. We're not. We're not hashing through this again. I'm not saying
opinion-
you said that.
In my
I
opinion,
don't care. I don't care what your opinion is about it. I do not want to hear anyone's opinion about the Nier soundtrack anymore.
I'm
I
not
don't care.
talking about Nier, Crispy.
I don't have room for it in my head.
I'm not
anymore.
talking about Nier.
I don't have it. I don't.
You don't even care anything I have to say.
No. I'm trying to get through my minute, man. Trying to get through my 4-player minute.
You were no longer the best man at my wedding. I'm taking you out of all the
You
photos.
can't change history. Yeah, I was there. I was in the pictures.
I can. No, I'm going to Photoshop them all.
Fine. What, Nolan? What? What do you think? What?
Nier
What?
is not the best soundtrack. In my opinion, it is Fastfall, the soundtrack
You
to
said it wasn't
Dust
about
Force.
Nier. Oh my god!
It's
You
not.
said
I
it
just said
wasn't
it's
about
not.
Nier. Oh my
I
That's
said
god!
called
it's
what?
Dust
Oh my
Force.
I want everybody to
The
know.
game,
Oh,
the game
Dust
Dust
Force.
Force. Its
Dust Force
soundtrack
is
is
up
called
there.
Fastfall,
My
and
fuck
it
you for
is
this week
fucking
goes to Chris
amazing.
Davis. My fuck you of the week goes to Nick Henderson. My fuck you of the week goes to Nolan Hedstrom. And my fuck you of the week goes to Brad Simons. That's my 4-player minute.
Damn, Brad, this is all your fault. This is
What?
all you. You had to bring up the fucking Nier soundtrack. Like the piece of shit that you are. Oh my god. Is that really all you wanted to say in your
I was
4-player
coming to
minute?
the defense of Chris
I
Davis.
don't know. I don't even remember what I was going to say anymore.
And that's Brad's fault.
There's a new Magic the Gathering set out called Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, which is really cool. It's like futuristic cyberpunk fantasy Japanese stuff with mechs, which is fun. That's cool.
That's cool, actually.
I'm excited about it. There's an expansion. There's a big expansion for Destiny 2 coming up next week, which was my sweat because it actually kind of looks okay, and I'm not.
Is this the one they didn't they just? Is this the one they announced like last week or no? That's something else.
No. They announced this a long time ago.
Oh, okay. I've lost track.
They've already announced the next expansion too, the one that's coming out in like a year or two. Void 3.0, they're reworking all the existing elements. They are introducing weapon crafting. It's cool. It's cool stuff. And that's my 4-player minute.
Thank you, Crispy. I knew you could do it. All right. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype goes to the Batman. There was a big news headline last year about Warner Brothers signing this big exclusive deal with AMC, and that all Warner Brothers movies in 2022 were going to be exclusive to AMC for 60 days in theaters, which made me really upset because that included the Batman. Apparently, that's bullshit, or that fell through, or something, because I got tickets to see the Batman at the Draft House in early March. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm pretty happy that that's not the case anymore. My sweat goes to Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever it's called.
Arceus.
I don't know why I let Brad talk me into it again. Like maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the Pokemon game for me. And I haven't touched it in over a week. I haven't
It was
touched it in over a
Pokemon
week.
versus Chicory.
And I'm regretting not playing Chicory every second sometimes. It's driving me crazy. Dude, if I play Chicory and love it, I'm gonna slap you whenever I see you next.
You should thank me if you love it.
You talked me out of it like 4 times, and I don't know why. I don't know why I let someone talk me into Pokemon again. It's not that I don't think the game is good.
You wanna believe.
Because everyone
wanna
likes
believe.
this
I
one,
wanna
and it
believe.
reviews
You wanna
really
believe.
well.
I'm wandering around the world of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and like, unless it's one of the 150 that I recognize, I see a Pokemon and I feel absolutely fucking nothing.
That's
Just
not
nothing
true,
at all.
man. That's not true. I found a blue cat. I've never seen this blue cat, and
I'm
he
talking
evolved.
about me,
He's like
not
a
you.
lion now, and the thing's adorable.
I'm talking about me, not you. I'm just saying what I feel, and it's nothing. So I'm hoping I'm gonna give it a few more sessions, and hopefully maybe it gets its hooks in me a little bit deeper because obviously Nolan went hard on it this past weekend. So I don't know. Maybe I can get there. But it's
What
it's
else
a
you
real
playing
struggle.
on your Switch?
Nothing. I could be playing Chicory though. My thank you goes to I went to Chipotle for lunch today, and let me tell you, it's a real uh every time I go to Chipotle, it's like I never know what I'm gonna get. Like I'm going through the line, I'm ordering my burrito, right, and I tell them I'm very particular. It's like I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and every time they're like, "Oh, okay," and then they just slather the whole thing on it. This young lady made me the nicest burrito I've ever had at Chipotle today, and it was an amazing lunch. I just want to. I don't know who you are out there, but thank you. It was lovely. And I don't know. Let's
I think
see.
Ribbon should be worried.
What? Why?
You're in love with the Chipotle burrito perfect maker.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way. I mean, it was just It was just a really great burrito. It was a really. I went to Chipotle like 2 weeks ago, and the burrito was like falling apart before I even took a bite of it. It was awful. So that shit's so frustrating. Anyways, thank you to that lovely person out there today, and my fuck you of the week. I don't know, goes to Brad for almost derailing Crispy's 4-player minute by bringing
No,
up
I
the near
fully
sound
derailed it. Let's be clear.
fully derailed it.
And he
Yeah.
takes
How
pride
about
in it.
that? Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's my 4-player minute. That's all I got. Oh, other hype real quick. I've been watching, Chris Davis, you'll be pleased to know, I've been watching The Expanse. I jumped back into it. I'm halfway through season 2. Show's pretty good.
Yeah.
Show's pretty good. I'm surprised I didn't feel like I had to go back and I watched like a recap of season 1, but I was like this close to rewatching the first season because it's been like 3 years since I watched it. But I made it. I've finally figured everything out again, and I'm full steam ahead.
Wait until you run into Adam Jensen.
I'm pretty excited. So, anyways, guys, that is our show this evening. We made it. Another one's in the bag. Appreciate you being here. We had a little trouble getting the second segment off the ground, but I think we'll figure it out. So, thanks for listening to all those watching us live on Twitch and listening at home on your podcast listening devices. We appreciate you. The website's 4playernetwork.com. You can find all of our podcasts there. We have Game of the Year videos coming from some of us coming here pretty soon. So if you're interested to hear what our favorite games of 2020, I know we're a little late to the party every year. Game of the Year stuff. We just do things a little differently here. We like the year to finish.
We're like the Oscars.
Yeah, we're the fucking Oscars of Game of the Year shit.
Wait, no,
And then
fuck the Oscars.
And then it doesn't matter at all. Fuck the
Oscars.
Oscars. But whatever. I enjoy doing our lists every year. So I hope you guys take a second or a few minutes to listen to them, watch them when they come out. Would appreciate it. In the meantime, catch us in Discord at discord.gg/4player. And of course, we'll see you next week for another episode. Be good to each other. Be safe. Play video games. Good night.
Night. Bye.